I was your age, they would say we could become cops or criminals. What I'm saying to you is this. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?
This is a state, please.
We are an elite unit.
This is who we're after.
Frank Costello.
You will not ever know the identity of undercover people.
You have anyone in with Costello presently?
Maybe.
Do you know who I am?
We are all convinced that Costello has at least one mole inside the Special Investigations Unit.
Getting the feeling we got a cop in my crew.
Sooner or later, he's gonna find out who I am, and he's gonna kill me. I can get the rat. You just gotta let me do it my way.
If you don't, it won't be me who pays for it.
You are only coming through Getaway.
You're lying to me.
There are things you don't want to know about.
What are you waiting for, honestly? I mean, do you want him to chop me up and feed me to the poor? Is that what you guys want?
Because comfortably numb.
Well, hello, everyone. Oh, look, we have a Mexican bear with light bleeding into it. What's going on there, buddy? You okay? You all right?
We're doing the deported, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So why are you not in handcuffs, being towed away in a cage?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, wrong avatar. Hello, people. Mischief Mayhem Movie, episode 42. So we decided to take a slight break from the scary movies, even though this movie's scary in its own right. Oh, hello, White Bear. This is The Departed, Martin Scorsese classic from 2006. Great movie. To me, it's one of his best, one of my favorites, but we have a good panel on tonight to discuss this. Let's get them on one by one. Start with my boy, Lance from the Outcast Creatives joining us. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are we?
We are good. It's not a Boston accent. We discussed this. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought I'd just go for posh. It is
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Colder than a witch's tit here in England. I'm shivering. I'm bunged up with a cold, which is why I'm not on camera. And
that's okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
Apart from that, I'm good.
Well, I'm very glad you could still make it. I really do appreciate you coming on as always. And
I may not stay on for the whole thing.
Don't worry about it, buddy. You let me know when you're ready to go.
Yeah, no, that sounded a bit terminal, man.
We won't throw you off the roof of a building like some people in the movie, but we'll get you out of here. Appreciate you. Let's bring on our next guest. This man needs no introduction, and I'm not going to give him one because I don't care. Just kidding. Jay, Desolate Soul Studios. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Welcome.
Yeah. Glad to have you back again. It seems like you're just basically living on my channel for a while, which is good.
You got a nice place. I like to stink it up with the gooch.
The gooch. Yeah. We'll get to the gooch after the show. He's got a special announcement about the gooch.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining, of course. And then our last guest, who was a last-minute addition because he's a good man. He's the Pumpkin King himself, the Gourd King.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Uninspired
Love the
review.
joke, by the way, Whitebear. That actually made me laugh pretty hard.
It was a good one.
If you put me on stream right after, I still would have been laughing.
That was a good one.
That was good.
The uninspired reviewer was supposed to be on, but he's in France and they're like having tornadoes and his house got blown away and he has no power.
They're too busy surrendering to the weather.
Yeah, I don't know what else is new.
To something, right?
They're going to complain about it too. What else is new? But anyway, we wish him well. His power's out right now, so he's not even able to chat with us. He wanted me to tell everybody in the chat hello, and that he will make it up to us by sending us pastries for the next year on his dime. So,
is that a French frog that we've just put up there?
Yeah. That's from my boy.
In honor of our buddy. One for my homies.
If anyone's wondering about my new avatar, by the way, I said to Gord King, because he was doing AI designs, combine Michael Cera and Pumpkin King and see what AI comes up with.
Yeah,
and that's my avatar.
It's really glorious.
It is glorious.
It's gorgeous. Get it? Gorgeous.
Exactly. Okay. It is gorgeous.
Bad jokes. Yeah, Vex Electronica is not on today because she had some important life stuff to take care of out of town. So we hope she's okay, which we know she is. Actually, I was just talking to her in the chat, but she's tired, needs to rest. She's got a lot going on, but we are here. I will be doing the trivia at the end of the show, so God help us all. And so we're talking about The Departed, guys. We wanted to go away from the scary horror movie October thing because Scorsese's got a new movie coming out this week, as the Flowers of the Killer Moon with DiCaprio. We figured let's switch it up. We were initially supposed to do The Omen, and I said, you know what? We have not done a Scorsese movie yet, and he's one of my favorite directors. So let's just do The Departed because nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about Goodfellas, Casino, Raging Bull. Let's pick a movie that widely acclaimed, critically acclaimed. Most people love this movie. IMDb scores through the roof. One of my favorites. I'm not saying it is his favorite, his best, but it's definitely one of my favorite movies. Rewatching this movie, guys, God, man, the script is so tight. The dialogue is absolutely fantastic in this movie, and it moves at a frenetic pace. It's not boring. It doesn't slow down, and the ending is unbelievable. I forgot how surprising the ending was. I remember seeing this in the movie theaters in 2006, and even then was just shocked by how this went. So I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah. I'd seen Infernal Affairs, which it's based on, which is Asian cinema.
I've seen it too.
This is basically a remake of that, but the good thing was when I went to see The Departed, no one had told me it was a remake of that, and I had completely forgotten about that film because I was at that stage I was going to the cinema like 2-3 times a week. So it was only about sort of 2/3 of the way, and I was thinking, I feel like I've seen this movie before, and then kind of twigged at the end. So
I'm sorry, I had to put this comment up by Gord. This is so funny.
We just had the London premiere of that. London premiere of Killers of the Flower Moon.
I'm kind of on the fence about seeing it. I want to see it because it's got a great cast and it's got De Niro actually, who acts for once again in his career, in his late career. DiCaprio, it's just I think Gord hit it on the head too a little bit on Twitter. Was it yesterday or today? You were talking about how about how there's some inclinations there that it might be a little woke or to have some messaging because they changed the script at the last minute, and like I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case. I want to give Scorsese the benefit of the doubt. I just hope it's not that way. That's all I'm saying.
Good subject for another stream.
Yeah, and
when
Stovepipe.
When we've all seen it.
I have to take this from Stovepipe because he's my boss. So I don't know what that means or what I did. But for that kind of punishment, I deserve a raise. I'm just saying.
Does that mean that Sassy is also known as Stovepipe? Which, dodgy images, man.
That's a nickname for a different time.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's bring up the screen here so we can kind of scrub through this quickly and just talk and gab about this movie. White Bear, was this the first time you saw this?
No, actually, whenever I told you, I was like, every time I hear about The Departed and where we were doing Halloween movies, I keep on thinking of the stupid Shutter Island movie. I keep on mixing them up. I don't know.
yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to review this. Like, if anything, I'm gonna pull a
Fuck
Lance.
you, Greg.
I'm gonna pull a Lance and like get sick all of a sudden or something. Like, I can't be here. Oh no. Nah.
Oh
Lance,
no.
Thank you for coming on. But
yeah. I love you, Lance.
I don't remember pulling a sickie, man. What do you want about?
Yeah. You will.
But I thought
I'm sick and I'm here.
I remember
for now.
I remember Whitey. You told me you actually liked this. I think when you first.
Yeah.
It.
When I finally saw it, I was like, oh, you know what? This whole time I've been, telling everybody like whenever they brought up The Departed, I'm like, that was a stupid movie, and you're stupid for watching it. And now I feel bad.
Thank you.
I feel so bad. So that's my fault. That's my bad.
If you want a quick rundown for me, it's Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Casino, and probably this. So those are my top 5 from him. The guy's a freaking great filmmaker. But anyway,
Color of Money has to be up there.
Color of Money's a good. That's another one people don't talk about. People forget that's him.
Spoiler alert! It's green.
Good one. Good choice though, there, Jay. Jesus Christ, Gordon. I invite you on a show and you come up with bad jokes.
Don't worry, he'll pay for
Mute
it.
him. Yeah.
Probably.
So this movie has a similar tone to his other. I remember watching an interview recently with him talking about his past movies. He said he didn't want to do another mob movie. He almost turned this down because I'm done with the whole genre. I've done everything I can. And they were like, no, you got to do this. So he said he wanted to make it different, have a different tone to the movie, not like his typical Goodfellas or whatever. And the movie starts off just like every other mob movie he's ever made. It's got the famous music, I think, by the Rolling Stones in the background.
Yeah. He really lulls you into thinking this is going to be very similar to one of my other films.
Dude,
and then
it changes.
He totally throws you with that, which actually I thought was really clever.
And you got Nicholson right off the bat speaking. He's talking. He's basically talking about like what it was like to be an Irishman in Boston and a certain group of people that were at the time when he was younger that were rioting. And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say exactly what he said. I hope it doesn't.
It was mostly peaceful.
Yeah, we'll leave it like that. There you go, Black Chappies. That's better.
Well, I think it's funny that you say like he didn't want to do another like mafia movie.
He didn't want to.
And then he does The Irishman after this.
Yeah, and he talks about that.
Yeah.
And later in the interview, he said The Irishman was really his last ditch effort to get the whole gang back together, and that's his last mob movie he was ever going to make. And so he said he's basically done with those. But
I'll believe I see it.
What's up, Zax?
I have this movie playing to my right on my TV, and I looked over and Vera Farmiga's in her underwear. So what's my name?
That's not a bad scene. No, that's not a bad. That was the best. She is a cute woman. She is attractive. I tell you what, she's actually not a bad actress. She played this part very well.
Yeah, she's good.
This was the second movie I ever saw her in.
Mm-hmm.
This movie reminds me of Donnie Brasco, but like jacked up another.
100%. On massive cocaine. And then so like you got this up to this part where he's just talking, and this is where we meet Danny Sullivan, which is played by Matt Damon. And
who?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I gotta tell you, they casted it. This kid looks pretty much like Matt.
Yeah,
like dead on. Is this supposed to be a racial thing? Like he's an Irish kid eating potatoes. Is that supposed to? Is that
come on. That's accurate.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
What are your thoughts about Matt Damon in this movie?
No, this movie sucks.
Matt Damon plays a good weasel very well. He did it in Interstellar, right? He could play a good asshole, and he plays. But like, I actually didn't mind him in this movie. I initially was he. Wait, when was Good Will Hunting? What year was Good Will Hunting?
96.
Well, that was
96.
Oh, so this was way after that. Okay, I'm sorry, but he was still
before that, wasn't it? Well, maybe not.
But yeah, I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, he makes me want to do bad things to him because he's obnoxious in this freaking movie. He plays a wimp, but I think he does it pretty well. I mean, I never really had an issue with him in this movie.
No, I think performance-wise, he's excellent in the movie. Yeah. And I mean, he's playing a guy that you kind of are slowly more and more meant to hate. So
yeah,
He does it really, really well.
Yeah, and I love how they have Jack Nicholson's face in the shadows the whole first part of the movie, like the beginning of the movie. You know it's him, obviously.
Aged 15 years ago.
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. And then I love how this is obviously a place that I'm assuming pays him like money, protect whatever he's involved with. And I love how he looks at the daughter of the place running it. And the guy who runs it's scared shitless of him, right? And then the daughter, he's like, "Oh, I see your daughter's growing up to be a nice woman." Then he goes, "Did you get your period yet?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" But that's just how he
was. Your legal kind of thing is almost what he says, pretty much.
There's baby Matt Damon.
I wondered for a moment while I was rewatching this part if this maybe was supposed to be his wife later in the movie. If maybe this was her young. It's not. But I was
you mean the one
she's also a redhead.
Yeah. Right.
Actually, I was like, that had been interesting, but no, that's not. He's just just a power move on his part. Like, I'm going to hit on your too young daughter here.
Yeah, exactly. And these stores, these like little deli stores with this is like growing up back east. This is very common to have these stores on the street corners. We had one growing up in Brooklyn where you would get all your stuff, and then if you wanted to sit down and eat there too, you could. So I was like, okay, this is very reminiscent. Even though it's Boston, it's still that whole East Coast corridor is it's very similar. But yeah, I like how he's just going through all the stuff, talking about the church and why they're wrong for making you do what you do. And I like how he's like, they make you sit, they make you kneel, they make you stand. He goes, what could you do with that? And he's like, I love it. This is a great opening to the movie. And he's talking to all these kids in his garage, and then he's talking about how the Italian mafia is trying to move in on his area and how he took care of them, which I was not insulted, even though I am a guinea, about him always saying that word in this freaking movie.
Are you really? You've never mentioned that before?
No, you couldn't tell by the name. No.
So what part of Boston is this?
I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know what.
It would be probably. Well, it'd probably be northern Boston. It's probably in
because they talk about Southfield. That's where all the other guys are from, right? Yeah. But
I have to say, this is one of the most disturbing movie hits I've ever seen film.
He's laughing.
It's uncomfortable looking. It's like, this is.
Yeah.
It's mostly because obviously he shoots a woman so coldly, and it's just like there's that.
Yeah.
There's like, that's brutal.
Yeah. And I love how he's just like, "Oh, look, she fell funny," and the guy's like, "You need to get help, Francis." It was so
really
funny.
See somebody while he's holding an axe, getting ready to
chop the body. And then this is the famous thing from the trailer where it says, you could become cops or criminals, and then he's like, when you're faced with a loaded gun, what is and then they bring him out of the shadows, obviously, and you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. And I love this here. I love how they transition from the kid staring at him right into adult Matt Damon. Fucking great. It's great editing there. Brings you right in. He's going to be a statey. He's going to be a cop, as they say in Boston. A statey cop. And then you just kind of get a little run through of them playing football with the firemen and what they go through. And there's this reoccurring theme in the movie where he keeps looking at the Beacon Hill, like the state building with the golden dome.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like, because that's like, and I think there's a reason. There's a lot of different interpretations as to why he's doing that as the movie goes on, especially at the ending with, how it ends with that shot of that. And there's some theories there we'll get into. Go ahead, buddy.
Connolly, you being from a horrible place, from a horrible group of people, is this really how this culture acts? Like, I'm
not Irish.
No. I mean, well, yeah, you got the mixture of people in this movie, and this whole attitude, the Boston attitude, and all that. Yeah,
I think there's a stereotype.
I mean,
there's a good stereotype, right? New Yorkers have a stereotype, and Boston people I think have a worse stereotype because they're.
Yeah.
I think they're like New York people think New Yorkers they're arrogant and because they just come off like with the attitude we just don't give a shit about anybody else. Boston's
like the one like super liberal city. Even liberals are like, you all are really racist.
Yeah. I think Boston takes it up a notch. And I think the reason is because Boston's always looked at as the little brother to New York because it's a smaller town. It's not as it's just
collar.
Yeah, more blue collar and yeah.
But
and so
anybody in chat, like if this movie, like you feel really represented by this movie, let me know.
Yeah. Do you feel represented?
This is a thing about the East Coast. Like it's primarily like the Irish and the Italians when they came over, they were looked upon as well, like especially the Irish. They were pretty much slaves, and people don't realize that they were slaves. Yeah. So like when they came over here, they were competing with the Chinese for work, especially out west in San Francisco. So, that's where a lot of you're seeing it nowadays with a lot of the cultures trying to stand up for themselves, and so like portraying the Irish here, and you see it with the Italians in these films. Yeah, it's just a great way of showing it.
Well, I know at one time being a cop was like when being
you didn't say it right. You didn't say it right.
Being a cop,
co-op.
A co-op, I know that being a cop was a looked down upon a job and all that, and only nobody didn't really want to be a beta, so they took on the.
Well, the
job
funny
that
thing
nobody
is,
else would
like,
take.
I guess for Boston, like, there's a difference between the city of Boston cop and a state police officer. Like, state police officer is definitely much higher level than a city cop would be. And that's why. I think that's why Costello or Nicholson wanted him and helped him get into that position, because he knew he was going to get more information, because you can rise faster. You're higher up in the government, being
and
a
he's
state
educated,
cop.
so he knows he can move up quick.
Right, 100%, 100%. And I love this here. He's like, no more pencils, no more books. Now you're mine, bitch. Basically, like, because and it even tells you here they're going through this stuff. He's like, you're a state police officer, this isn't the city cops, like you. And I love this shot here. This is good directing here, where you get him. They did this another scene later on in the movie where you get this little circle of him, and then it expands out into the state building.
Why they do that?
You want to, Lance? You want to explain that
Lance?
Well, it's just a directing choice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A way of showing his perspective or emphasizing his perspective on life, that kind of thing.
Okay, it looked kind of like, I don't know, an older technique or something like that.
Well, Martin Scorsese is an old school director, so
all right.
By the way, that was James Badge Dale plays the other partner of Matt Damon. He was he was one of the main actors in Band of Brothers Pacific.
Yep.
I really rate him as an actor.
He's a really good actor. Yeah.
He was on a season of 24 also. He was really good in that.
I love this part.
Never stops working.
Yeah, no, the guy's in a lot of stuff. I love this part when you get into the office and you meet Martin Sheen's character and fucking Mark Wahlberg.
The dialogue in this scene,
dude. Look at this.
Brilliant.
So good.
And Mark Wahlberg blew me away in this movie because
really.
I obviously I don't think he's a great actor, but in this, got something.
Capable.
Yeah, he is capable. And when he's with the right director who can bring that, and he's in his hometown. He's from Boston, so like I think it was just he was comfortable. And Scorsese, some great directors can get great performances. This guy was having a blast with his character.
We all know he can sometimes be really bad. Yet he's got 2 Oscar nominations, one for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, imagine seeing The Happening, and then you watch this. And you're like, wow, it's the same guy. Like,
I'd love to know how well him and Damon got on this movie set. I bet they kept them apart to a degree,
right?
And I bet a lot of the anger there was kind of channeled.
Probably, I bet there was a little bit.
I've heard that they do that. Yeah, just
a little rivalry.
Well, Scorsese does that. I know.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I heard. So
yeah,
and he's got all the hot girls who just. They think he's eye candy throughout most of the movie, because he does come off as charming and smart and witty, and you'll see that later.
I heard he was in the Film Actors Guild. So.
Oh God, yeah. So you get this great dialogue between them. Mark Wahlberg, it was just hilarious, and you just love how Martin Sheen's character is just sitting there, like just taking it, because he's like, I'm used to this shit with this guy. Like this is how we do it. And then
he doesn't flinch at all at him. It's great. And you're like, is he going along with this, or is this coordinated? Or he's just like, no, this is just how he is. I'm used to it.
This is how he is. Yeah.
You got to be in awe, like the first time you're doing this scene, because you're like with Martin Sheen, Apocalypse Now, one of the greats. He was phenomenal in that movie, and you got like And then you got Jack Nicholson. So you got like these two heavyweights when it comes to acting.
Yeah.
So like you got to be shaking your boots a little bit when it comes to doing these scenes with these guys.
Yeah. DiCaprio said that he felt he played his character as though he was having a panic attack for the
panic
entire
attack
film.
all the time. He plays it well because you do you feel his anxiety throughout this whole.
That
movie.
wouldn't have been hard to do if you were a young actor in the room with Martin Sheen and Jack Nicholson. You could ramp that up pretty easy, I would have thought.
I like this.
One of the things it's pointed out in this scene, and I think DiCaprio does it so well in this movie, is they're kind of talking to him about how, he almost like he has no identity whatsoever. They're like, do you even know who you are? Basically, he kind of plays a character that you never really fully get a beat on, other than his paranoia.
Yeah,
like it's really hard to actually pin down who he is.
Yeah, 100%. He just does it so well.
He's kind of a method actor, right? Like that Basketball Diaries. He kind of went into this mode.
Yeah,
and you forget that him and Wahlberg did that movie together, and they're back together doing this movie. But
he actually ate meat for The Revenant.
Yeah,
forgot about The Revenant. God.
Yeah.
So this is where they're trying to get to know. Well, so this is William Costigan, and he has a background, right, with his family. He's got like his dad, who was a straight and narrow right guy, but his family was all basically bookies and into organized crime and stuff. And so I guess he's trying to be a state cop. He does very well on his tests. He's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy, but then they're kind of question, like, why are you trying to be a cop?
Right.
And he's like, we know you're too smart for this. Basically, your SAT scores are through the roof. Like, you're deceiving yourself. You're deceiving us, and it's never going to happen. So like you feel bad for him because you see his face.
It's funny because at first they're just tearing him down and tearing him down and tearing him down, and then then it's like, it's because you're way more than this. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
That's what Connolly does to me all the time. He tears me down.
I do. He finally, but I build him back up. I build
you from the gooch to the head. You got to rebuild him.
Yeah, there he is again. I like this guy because they came out of the academy together, and he's like, you made Sergeant in no time, and he's like, he's like, I can maybe do something for you. He's like, do you have what do you say? Do you have a suit, or do you always look like you're going to invade Poland?
Yeah, that's
what a great line. But the guy's not stupid. He goes, we're cops. Like this is like a dead end job, because Damon says like you can get somewhere if you actually applied you, and he's like, well, this is cops. This is nowhere. Like this is where you go when you have no other options, basically.
I like that sign behind him right there that just says Liza did it. I'm like, what did she do? That to me is
what did Liza do?
Mystery. What did Liza do?
Liza's a sneaky little one, isn't she? Yeah, and this is where they're going into his family, like Tommy Costigan, and how then there's another cute girl looking at Matt Damon. Where are all these cute cops? Like, who? I've never seen police officers look like this. Or maybe because it's the state police, it's higher standards. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But then you get Alec Baldwin, who I can't stand normally, but he's actually not a bad actor. He's talented. He was great in this movie, I had to say.
Yeah.
He really he was really shooting from the hip with his lines.
Yeah, I'm glad
you've seen his opening speech from Glengarry Glen Ross.
Oh, it's one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah. I mean, that proves what he can do.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies ever. You want a clinic on acting and how to put a script together, and that's the movie to watch.
Just acting and dialogue carrying an entire film.
The whole movie.
It's phenomenal.
Legendary actors too. It's fantastic. So if people in the chat haven't watched Glengarry Glen Ross, it's fantastic.
David Mamet, stage player.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it with Christian Bale in it on stage. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they're going through Costello's crew, and then there he is. They're talking about, and it's so funny how the FBI guy's in there helping them, and you got Matt Damon's character Sullivan, and he looks at him and he starts smiling because he's realizing, he's like, you idiots have no idea. Like, this is who you're looking for, but you're never
old man up on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And then again, I love how it's cutting back and forth, right, to Matt Damon's character and DiCaprio, because DiCaprio's trying to do something with his life. Matt Damon's already achieved this level because of his the backing that he's got from this gangster, but he's still at this high level. He's in these big meetings talking about capturing a guy he's helping, and then here's DiCaprio just like he just can't catch a break.
Talking about growing up in the North Shore. Yeah,
and you feel kind of bad for him. And I love how Wahlberg plays this here, where he's like, you had different accents, didn't you? You're rolling your R's on the weekends, and going back home. It's like, and look at this. And I gotta say, DiCaprio's good at this, man. You always can tell a good actor by their eyes. Like he did this in Inception too, at the ending of the movie when he wakes up from the dream, and and he wants what's his name to make the phone call to get his visa put through, and he's not even saying anything. You can just feel his emotion coming through in a 2-minute scene. He does this well. But he is a good actor. I mean, I might not like the guy for his views and what he does, but he's a damn good actor. So yeah. But this back and forth was great. What is it? Irish curtain face and mother effort, like you do it in the States. It's like, oh God. And then he has a great line here. He goes, families are always rising and falling in America. And Martin Sheen's like, who said that? He's like, Hawthorne.
What's the matter? You don't know any Shakespeare?
You don't know any Shakespeare? It's like, God, he's such a dick. And they're just talking about his deception. Okay, let's not say that word on TV. God. No N words allowed here, Jay. What the hell, man?
Yeah, Vex is not.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have Vex here to protect me. I know what you are, and I know what you not.
I'll do my best.
Sorry, Lance. Sorry. Yeah, they're basically telling him no. Like, you're too smart for this. So they want to give him some undercover job where, which comes up where he can go and infiltrate Costello's group, and then. One thing about good storytelling, man. They're telling his background here a little bit, and they don't even have to give you that much. You get this, his uncle, right? Who's basically an asshole. His mom's in the hospital. She's sick. Because he's saying this, like, she's the only family I have, basically. And you could tell immediately this guy is just a dick, and he wants nothing to do with him. And he even tells him, like, "Are you only here? You're only here because she's on her deathbed. You want to act like the good brother." And he goes, "Yeah, this part right here, where he's like, I mean, there's some questions you should have asked yourself, like, is my wife a money grubbing whore? Are my children a mess?" And you're just like, holy shit! Oh God, I love the dialogue in this movie so much.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And he's basically like telling this guy, like, once she's dead, we're done. We're done. There's no more connection to the family anymore. And you feel bad for the dude, man, because no mother, his dad's dead. His family background is a mess. He's trying to improve his life by becoming a cop. It's all he has left. And he can't even get that. And then here you go with this guy getting an apartment. God knows what this would have cost back in 2006. Even then, looking over the state capitol building, and the real estate guy even tells him, he's like, "Oh, so do you have a he says something like, "Are you married or have a girlfriend?" He's like, "No." And they saw, like, the guy's looking at him like, "How the fuck could you afford this?" Being a state
that's totally
detective?
not suspicious at all. But
yeah, he's a state police detective. I have a
He's aware that there's organized crime. I think he's just like, who am I talking to?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like he looks a little nervous. He's like,
he does.
Co-signer. And he's like,
he does.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is where they're burying Costigan's mother, and look, Frank Costello actually sent flowers to the because of the family history they have. Oh, there's the name in the movie in the card. Haha, they did the thing.
That's the thing.
Maybe he's really his dad.
Oh, you think so? Oh, you know what? Could be.
It's possible because he had.
It's possible. Yeah, you know what?
Women.
I never thought about that, but that's true because he even at the end of the movie. Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah, they talk about the money in the operation that's tax free, and basically how they have to go through this whole thing of like him. They can't conceal that he was in the academy, but they'll basically give him this whole fake background. Like he'll go to jail for some bullshit charge and then come out. Look, he has a record. So if people look into it, and it's actually a smart plan. But he's got nothing else to do. So why not? And this is where you get the
talk about how hard it is to go undercover.
Oh,
like I know a few cops that
say it, Jay. Say it right.
Couple caps that went undercover, and it screws up your life big time. Like the family is like, it can't handle it. Like they seek single guys or females to do the jobs, but it's kind of hard to, because once you get in the police academy, you want to start a family, you think you're established and all that stuff. But
yeah,
it really screws you up mentally. And I love how it portrays that with DiCaprio here. Like he's struggling internally, just like with everything.
You can see his ass is being eyed up in that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Hey, I'll save you, Jack.
He's under threat there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like
He's
how
got like no stabilizing element to his life. So him being
gonna
this
squeal like a pig.
They're looking at that
being
game
this
pretty
paranoid
hard.
and wired throughout the movie just makes so much sense.
Yeah, and then this guy's talking to him about his cousin, which comes into play a little bit later. And he's like, your cousin's a nice guy, but he's not that bright. He's like, oh, I mean, no offense. And he's like, whatever. You're not wrong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is him getting out of his fake prison sentence, and he goes to meet his cousin, which is funny because they're a half Italian, half Irish family, which is not uncommon in the East Coast, but it was just funny because when the guy walks in the door, this guy is just all pepperoni. This guy's just straight Italian. And he's like, why are you here? Because his cousin's in the organized crime. He does stuff on the streets for the mob. And he's like, why are you here? Because he knew he was a cop. He was trying to become a cop. So there's a lot of suspicion. And he's telling him, hey, my mother died. And he's like, I'm sorry. And he was like, I was just at a funeral too for this guy who I like how they throw these little nuggets into this movie. You have to pay attention. They mention the guy's name and it comes into play later on in the movie. And you're like, oh shit, that was the guy from the beginning of the movie. But yeah, here's where DiCaprio's based.
We get the title now, right? Isn't this all pre-title?
Yes.
I think it comes like right as they're doing that pan across him being in the prison line.
It's a 20-minute pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
Can this actor not play a skeezy person?
It's always the same. It's always the same. But the funny thing is,
though, I like it.
Right? Yeah, he is.
He does a good job, but he's always a skis.
But right after, Jesus Christ,
Whitey's
judging.
Oh well, yeah, we were talking about Leo in jail, so okay.
your background,
the gooch.
No.
The gooch.
Yes, so this is where he's like, yeah, listen, I have some money from my mom insurance, and I want to put it on the street with you. And at first he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't know. And he's like, what, you want me to say it? I'm no cop. I'm your effing cousin. Love these accents. Yeah.
He does a Boston accent significantly better than a South African one.
That is true. TIA, Danny. Yeah, so this is where they're basically taking money from businesses, and he's like, yeah, I shouldn't even be doing this because this is Costello. So if people don't know, the trivia, but this is like loosely based off Whitey Bulger, in case people didn't know. Winter Hill Gang, which you got a movie about that with Black Mass that came out, which really, but this is loosely based. So Costello's supposed to be Whitey Bulger, but yeah, this is where they meet Frenchie. I love these guys' nicknames. This guy's Frenchie, and he's talking about his uncle. And so basically, they're trying to get to know him. The cousin introduces to them, and this fucking guy at the thing. So DiCaprio orders a drink. He wants a cranberry juice, and then he's like, it's my girlfriend gets it on a fury. He beats the shit out of the guy. I was like, oh, but you're right. Like we were saying before, and maybe we could hit on this before. Up until the point where at the beginning of the movie where Nicholson does his, what's the difference between a criminal and a cop if you got a loaded gun in your face? Like right after that happens, the movie completely switched tones to me. And I think it does deviate from a typical Scorsese movie like Goodfellas or Casino. Like it was hitting those marks, and then it completely changes. And he did it on purpose because he wanted a different feel. I don't know if you guys agree, but it does. It has some elements of Scorsese. You could tell it's his movie, but he does switch. Like right after that.
Stylistically, it's very different.
Very different.
It's still his movie with his signatures all over it, but tonally, it's very different.
Yeah, it has a very different energy,
which is refreshing.
No, I think it's perfectly matched for the narrative of the film. Personally,
100%. It's total gooch.
Well, do you think that because he's telling two stories, maybe possibly three, and like based on the characters? Like, because like when you watch Goodfellas, it's all based about
Ray Liotta's character, Henry Hill.
Yeah, Ray Liotta, Frankie. What was it? Yeah, Frankie, whatever. And in primarily, like you watch even Bringing Out the Dead with Nicolas Cage is all based on his character. So like,
Casino too.
Casino, yeah, it's all based on one character. Now this one, he's kind of going from kind of like 3 angles, you know, like from different personas. I think that's where you get a different vibe for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's one of the few films of his where there's 2 leads that have got 2 separate storylines that get equal screen time.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you could even add Nicholson in there as a third. Like
yeah. It's great though, but I like how he's like, he's like, this is a guy you can almost hit, and you know, he almost can't. He's like, I'm gonna make a ruling. You can't hit him. And then
I love Ray Winston in this.
Oh, he was so good.
Yeah, he's a legend in the UK, Ray Winston, and his daughter,
he's great.
His daughter Jamie's a really good actress too.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Winston, look out for her.
This is so good though.
His accents. What do you guys think of his accent? Ray Winston's.
It's tough, right, for him to try to do a boss. You could still hear.
I never got the impression he was fully trying to be like. I got the impression that he probably was foreign, but just had lived in Boston for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's consistent at least.
Yeah.
Cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Get him a cranberry juice. It's so good, but yeah, so then we move on here. And this part, again, the dialogue and the way these people play off each other. Mark Wahlberg walks in here and he's talking to Alec Baldwin's character, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, how you doing? Or something about, what does he say? God, I forgot. Like, oh, my mother's I'm tired
screwing his mother, and
I'm tired from effing your mother.
Tired from screwing my mother.
Yeah, they're just laughing at each other.
Your mother, and he's like, she's tired from screwing my father.
And everybody's looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on?
But it's played like it's a conversation they've had 50 times before.
There you go. Dialogue right there.
like it's like shorthand comedy.
Like Baldwin is his character's just as used to Daggett as Martin Sheen's is.
Then we get the
information. It's a little more contentious because obviously he can't give the information to Baldwin that he would like to have.
Right. So this is where you get the scene of what they're talking about, these microprocessors that Costello's going at, or the Chinese company that owns them, that Costello wants to go after them. And so this is the part of the beginning where Costigan's cousin comes in and said he was in a funeral. This is, you find out, is the guy who was actually trying to steal the processors, and then he was found dead. Again, Miles Kennefic, I think was his name in the movie, the character. Yeah, there it is, Miles Kennefic. So, and I like how Matt Damon's trying to get information on the Kennefic family, and then they're all looking at him like, dude, nobody gives a shit about this guy. Like, we're here to get Costello, and he's doing it on purpose, right? To kind of deviate away from.
He's trying to come off like the eager detective.
Yeah,
like, I'm not here to solve this.
Yeah. And it's just, again, he's like, maybe, and he goes, do you guys have anybody undercover? He's like, maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself. And he's like, one thing about feds, he said, like, what does he say? They're like mushrooms. Feed him shit and leave him in the dark.
Yeah.
Great line.
And I love how Baldwin's character here is like, he's a really nice guy. Don't judge him off this one meaning alone. It's like,
it's like his attack dog or something,
Dude, it's so good.
I love it.
Yeah. And then obviously this is where they're going to Kennefic's family's house. And again, he's trying to portray himself as, like Gord said, the good detective. And this is pretty, in a small town like this, this is pretty realistic. I knew somebody who lived in Boston or around organized crime. He wasn't involved, but this is kind of how it was, man. People think Boston's a big city, but these little communities like this, people who are associated with these people, like you see the guy who runs things driving by, waving to the girl who he killed, right? Kennefic he killed, and she's like, "Hey, go fuck yourself," to the cop. Shuts the door right in his face. You're like, "Oh, that's how it is." That's how it is.
Sounds like a great place, man.
I tell you what, when we lived in Brooklyn, I will say that you had similar things like this. It wasn't. I will say it was one of the safest neighborhoods in the city, because people from the outside,
years ago.
Yeah.
you fart, everyone smells it. That's like
it's different.
Everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah. And then obviously Costello's being tailed, and because he's helping him out, he tells him he's being tailed later on. But this is where we get the introduction to the girlfriend, which, yeah, she was good in this movie, and he comes off as very charming, right? He's endearing, he's smart, he's witty, he's funny, and she plays off that immediately. And I like how he's like, yeah, I know what you do for a living, and he goes, I'll stab somebody right now if it means getting to your office, because is a good scene. It's a good scene.
The dialogue in this scene is excellent.
It's great. Mm-hmm. It's great how they play off each other, and
it's doomed for tragedy already.
100%. And immediately after he has this happy moment where he forgets everything, his boss Costello, the mob guy's calling him on the phone, yelling at. This happens a lot in this movie, and it happens for a reason. It's written that way for a reason, because it's every time he's at a high peak where he's happy, he gets taken right back down to like, okay, I'm just a little peon.
Kind of one of those interesting parallels between the two leads is that you've got them coming into being a police officer. Y'all brought up earlier, the fact that DiCaprio coming in there is like, usually after you take a job like that, that's when you can start settling down. Well, he can't, because now he's going undercover. And Damon's character, you can tell, would like to as well, but there's always that call coming from the big man.
Yeah.
He can't quite do it that way either.
Yeah, they're stuck, basically. This part's funny. So you got the Italian mob from Providence, which is not far from Boston at all, who they kind of try to run into the neighborhood. I love this Indian guy, this store owner. This Indian guy is fucking funny because the Italian guy keeps calling him Babu. He's like, why do you keep calling me fucking Babu? Such great dialogue. But then, here you go, Whitey. Here's my people trying to hustle down the store owner.
There you are.
This is where having Uninspired would have been great. He had that awesome Indian impression.
What do you call me, Babu?
It would have been funny if he could have got Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro to do a cameo as these two
really?
guys.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Mm-hmm. That would have
but
been
maybe
great.
It would have undermined the tone of the film.
Probably. It would have taken it away.
Would have been fun though.
It would be hard to see them get hurt. So,
well,
Joe Pesci gets hurt in all of these movies. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because they're from Providence, and like we referenced earlier, Whitey Bulger is the reference for the characters in this book. Mm-hmm. But Whitey would actually rig a lot of the basketball games in Providence and the surrounding area. Mm-hmm. And that's what caught the eye of the FBI originally.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, huh?
Yeah, very interesting.
But I like how DiCaprio's character here, he's like, so you're all from Providence? And the guy's like, what the fuck are you? None of your business. He goes, what are you, delivering cannolis or something? And he starts just kicking the shit out of them. And he did it on purpose.
Well, were they cannoli?
Probably not. Well, different kinds of cannolis. And he did it on purpose because he knew that if he did it,
word would get back
Costello's attention. This is how he's going to get in, right? Yeah. And then here you got the date between. God, she is attractive. The date between, and again, parallels, right? Like this is a high.
Because they got him. He's hanging with this doctor, and then they're showing DiCaprio, who's getting his arm wrapped by a pretty attractive, nurse or doctor as well, but much different context.
Yeah, different time. He looks at her and he smiles, but he realizes, nothing's gonna happen here. Just wrap my fucking arm up. I gotta go.
I wouldn't have minded her being in the movie more.
No. But yeah, and he's, they're just dialoguing, and she's talking about how Freud talked about how basically the Irish were unfixable when it comes to therapy, mental therapy. Like they are what they are. Yeah, psychoanalysis. They just are who they are, and just going back and forth. And it's funny too because the whole movie, she likes him, right? Because they do a whole thing. They live together, but she's always doubting things with him a little, even at the beginning. She can't really commit 100%, which we'll get into that later on in the movie, how she fucks that all up. But this is interesting. So we get DiCaprio back at the bar where he beat the shit out of the guy with the cranberry drink. And then, of course, because he knows Costello, this is his bar. This is where his people hang out. He's going to stop by eventually. And I love how those two girls at the end are talking. And when he walks in, Nicholson, everybody just shuts up and turns their heads. Shit, oh, shit. But this is great. This is where the power of like presence as an actor. The guy just sits down and he's intimidating. He's just scary. Like even we said that in The Shining. Remember, Jay? Like he just has a presence about him. That movie, he was crazy. He pulls that off here, but he's also just got this intimidating, don't fuck with this guy kind of look. And
it reminds me of Uncle Rocco. It was the same.
Rocco, what his name? Rocco.
The same intimidating look. Like he just didn't say anything, and you didn't. Right. You hope that he didn't look at you. Like that's
right.
Are there any Uncle Roccos in the world who are not intimidating?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's a name requirement. Surely
it is.
Yeah.
And I like how he goes. You met my associate, Mr. French. He's like, is that his real name? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
He tries to really play up the whole ignorance of everything.
Yeah.
He's like the whole movie. He's trying to be like, I don't know.
It's great. And then he's like, come with me. And he's like, I'm not the cops. I'm not asking. He's like, oh shit. Yeah. And this is where he goes through the whole thing about the guys from Providence are going to send more people. They're going to kill you, but I can stop them if you want me to. And then since Costello doesn't trust anybody, he goes through this whole dialogue about his dad and how, Mr. French is going to search him. And this is fucking painful when he smacks his broken hand onto the table.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, I felt that. And he's like, yeah, he's clean. It's like, oh God. And he takes his shoe. Now, if you watch carefully with this, I don't know if you guys caught this, when he's hitting them with the shoe, he's not really hitting him, but he's hitting the table just in front of him. Little movie trick there, but it's happening so fast. You really don't notice it unless you really pay attention to the scene. Because somebody mentioned that to me, like, it's like, no shit, he's not really hitting him. But
that's how they do chair shots sometimes in wrestling. If the guy's down, they'll hit the front, they'll hit the mat right before the head. That way, they're not actually clobbering their skull.
Right. Yeah. And again, just like his cousin, he's got to make sure you're still not a cop. I knew, because he even says, Queenan, which is Martin Sheen's character, he's like, I wouldn't put it past him to do some shit like putting you in to get me, because he's not stupid, Costello. He's crazy, but he's not stupid. And then he, obviously, DiCaprio's pretty convincing here on how he sells himself.
He's got a real kind of Jesus Christ, is this what I've got to do face? Not sure I can do this, man. Just that moment where he's nearly breaking and then he just manages to hang on.
It's a mental fuck.
Very well
it's a total mental fuck. It like even when who was it, Hunter S. Thompson, when he went with the Hell's Angels, that scared the shit out of him in the beginning.
This scene did hurt, Roman. You're right. And I like how he walks out here. Who let this IRA mother effer in my bar? It's when it's when he chose to do his Boston accent in the scene. Yeah, and I like this. He's like, "How's your mother?" And she's like, she's on her way out." And he's like, "We all are. Act accordingly." Not a bad-looking woman here either for whatever her age is.
That's David O'Hara standing behind her, who's
behind her.
Irish, the Irish guy from Braveheart who goes, "It's my."
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, same guy, barely recognizable. Fantastic actor. Drink you under the table.
I love him in that movie.
He was great.
Yeah, he can sink a few beers, that man.
Yeah. This is where they're trying to figure out if DiCaprio's character is reliable, if they trust him, and they're just sitting there going, I'm reliable. And he's like, your wife was reliable. He goes, she got reliable. And they show this quick scene. It's like, you don't need any explanation. You don't need a backstory here. Whatever it was that pissed him off, he ended up taking care of his wife. And these people they're killers. This is what they do. Hey, love it. Thanks for joining. Yeah, there is a lot of psychological damage in this movie. This movie is deep, and it's so good. And I like how she's like, could you ever shut the hell up? And then these are the Providence guys that were coming back to get DiCaprio's character when they find them dead. Like Damon's got a funny line here. He pulls up the jacket and it says property. Oh, it says like Providence and the name of the store. And he's like, oh my, what did he say? Like the rules of detection say that these guys were from Providence. Yeah. You're like, oh God. Then he calls his girlfriend here and wants to have lunch. And then he calls Costello to tell him what's going on. So this is where Costello is getting all his intel why he never gets caught. One of the reasons why he never gets caught is another big reason we find out later. which was pretty interesting. But
yeah.
Mention
it later.
And then he's like, he's basically set up this other guy, Jimmy Pappas, who like basically owns like Greek restaurants around the city. And it's just that's a nice apartment he's got, though. I tell you what, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
I think that's a real apartment, not a set as well.
It is, yeah. Can you imagine what that would cost in Boston, looking over the harbor like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
most of the movie was shot in New York, though. Most of it.
A lot of it was,
yeah.
When I went down,
sorry.
I was going to say, when I went down there a few years ago, one of the things that me and my sister did, we drove along a lot of the beachfront property because a ton of it was for sale because I was curious about some of the prices.
Oh, I could imagine.
Just out of sheer curiosity, everything was 7 figures except one $200,000 shack. I mean, it looks like a garage.
Why didn't you buy it? Come on, man.
Yeah, dude, your fee from Barbie should get you one of those. Come on.
I didn't. Barbie wasn't out yet.
I mean, I guess Scott Pilgrim really didn't hit the way you thought it would. Huh?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Going back to Scorsese and sets, like he didn't really like sets. He liked actual scenes, like on
location.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It makes it actually look like it's lived in because it's actually been lived in.
Yeah. It's a beautiful apartment too. But I like how he's trying to get to know DiCaprio's character here. Asking him questions, and he's like, "Do you know John Lennon?" And he's being a smart ass. He's like, "Yeah, he was the president before Lincoln." And he's like, "Oh God, you know why he's doing it, to come off as a dumbass." And I like how Nicholson's like, "Too bad, smart man." And I love the part here. And this is Scorsese was saying in his interview, he wanted this all to be different than a normal mob boss, right? So he was like, him and Nicholson actually came up with this idea with the hand in the bag. He's like, instead of just me talking, because I guess the whole dialogue here was completely different. It was a typical thing like you'd see in a mob boss. Like, hey, what can I use you for? What are your skills? Like this and that, which they are doing here. But, and if you watch a typical mob movie, it's a lot of just the same dialogue over and over again. He's like, no, let's do something different. Let's put a bag with a hand, and you don't explain what it is or whose it is, but he pulls it out and watched DiCaprio's. And it took DiCaprio by surprise because he didn't know they were going to do this. So... Yeah, if I see a guy pull out a severed hand at the table after eating shrimp, talking to me about my future in his organization, I'd probably be a little scared of that guy. Just saying.
I'll try and do that on a future stream.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
I appreciate
it. If the chapter on the Blu-ray isn't finger food for this scene, then that's a missed opportunity.
It should be. It should be. So,
Cannoli, is this the 2.5 hour movie or is this the 3.5 hour movie?
For The Departed? No, this is the original. This is the regular cut.
Okay.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know there was an extended. Yeah, I didn't know there was an extended cut of this.
Yeah, there's an extended version. A 3.5 hour. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh shit. I know there's some deleted scenes, but I didn't know there was like an extended
I'm gonna have to
cut.
search for that. Yeah, I would watch.
I know it's coming onto Netflix.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm searching for it right now.
Well, find out. I'd watch 3.5 hours of this. It's so good.
Yeah,
because I went to go watch it, and there's a 3.5 version that they have that coming on to Netflix.
No kidding.
Nice.
Wow.
3 hours. Yeah.
Well, he wants to do that. He also, just to get off, but he wants to do that with the Gangs in New York. He said the Gangs in New York was not the movie he wanted to make. The Harvey Weinstein got his hands on that one and changed everything.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's a movie you can tell the direction is not. I mean, it's not from what you saw on the screen. It's not his best stuff.
And it was almost a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, Harvey was notorious for cutting directors' work and
the voiceover stuff with DiCaprio. Yeah. He's like, I didn't want all that shit. That was all Weinstein. He's like, there is a cut out there if they want to put it together. It's like almost 3.5 hours, 4 hours, but it's the movie I wanted to make. And
Roman, he got his hands on it.
And I like the Gangs in New York, but even Scorsese said exactly what I was thinking. Like, it was just missing something that made it great, and it's because it wasn't the movie I made. I was like, it was good. It was really
and it had something that was keeping it from being great. Also, Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz was a terrible choice. The whole movie was what's his name? Daniel Day-Lewis was freaking phenomenal in that movie. He made that movie what it was.
Another method actor because he was like the butcher throughout the whole.
He was amazing.
And that was supposed to be Robert De Niro.
best actor of his generation by
Oh, he
far.
is.
Oh
And
my
Robert De
gosh.
Niro turned the butcher role down because he was doing something
Oh,
else.
thank God, because
And I'm like, enough with the
there's a reason to watch the movie.
yeah. Yeah, so this is where DiCaprio throws his wire out the window, and I like Wahlberg. He's like, oh, did they kill him already? Is he dead already? It's so good.
Did you find it, Lance? Did you find the 3.5 hour?
Yeah, did you see the 3 hour?
No, I found loads of articles about it, including somebody who actually did a Kickstarter to get it released. Which
No
is
kidding.
interesting. Yeah, not Scorsese, some other guy. So I mean, it's definitely, the cut definitely exists. That's for sure.
Okay.
So,
If you go on Netflix, it says coming soon on to Netflix, the 3.5 hour one.
Damn, we're gonna have to do this all over again.
We're gonna have to do the whole show for an extra hour. Oh yeah.
Well,
right.
I'm curious how much does it change the movie?
Yeah, you know what? I'm on Netflix right now, and it does say extended version. Wow,
Right.
that's nuts.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody's going out
Well,
that
I'm
weekend.
glad I could bring you guys news.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That's Gooch. That's Gooch news right there.
Yeah.
That's Gooch news.
Is
Yeah,
the
so
word
they're just kind
gooch a Bostonism? Is that a Boston word, gooch? I'm not familiar with this word.
It's so Gucci.
Are you eating pizza? Look at this guy. He's eating pizza
Yeah,
on the fucking stream. Look at him.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
where's my slice?
Well, he makes his own, so.
Oh.
So. Yeah, I like how here. So they're just shaking up a bunch of places, and I like how DiCaprio beats the shit out of this guy, knocks his teeth out. Hey, R2, how's your mother?
He knocks his guy's teeth out, who's totally cool with them and everything, and he's just like, I thought he was reaching for his gun.
Cigarettes. He's like, what the fuck you doing? I was reaching for my cigarettes. And he's like, he doesn't need his teeth anyway. Yeah, and then this is where Damon's putting together. This is again parallels, right? Damon's in charge of putting together a group to help get Costello, right? It's a group of the best detectives in his little department, and then you got DiCaprio joining, like finally getting initiated by Costello and joining his gang now. So again, it's just crazy how it's just great writing. It's great writing. I like how he always calls Costello Dad when he calls him, "Hey, Dad."
Yeah.
You have a tail. Hey, and this part was good too with the
late
priest.
for dinner.
And Costello gives him an out here. Costello's giving DiCaprio's character an out. He's like, if your father saw me here, despite what I thought of him, he would kill me if he saw. And then same thing with your uncle, right? And then, he's asking him like, was my father ever involved in organized crime? He's like, no, never. But then Costello gives him an out. It's like, hey, maybe you should go back to school. Like maybe this isn't for you. And he's like, school's out. I love Nicholson's line.
It's funny how he, at a very young age, he pulls Matt Damon's character into this, and in this, he's trying to push him away from. He's like, you might be better off away from us. It's like, that's interesting.
It's odd, right? Like he has enough respect for him. He cares enough, like be like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this because of his family history, though. Like this is you're better than this. Go back to school. I love how he's like, maybe one day you'll wake the F up. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then the thing with the priest here is freaking hilarious. I'm gonna go right. Yeah, and he's talking to the priest because was this around the time with the incidents that was happening? Yes.
Yeah, it was topical at the time.
Yeah. So I love this part where he's like, "I want you to know that in this archdiocese, what did he say? God doesn't run the bingo here." It's like I run the, and then he's talking to them about how they came to him and they were like, they did things to that things that were happening that were inappropriate back then. These two priests were involved in, and I love how he's like, he's like, God made, like, what does he say? Like, God made me as I am. Wasn't that your rationale or something? It's like, it's so funny. He plays it off so well.
And then he has like that drawing, I guess, of
the girl. Yeah, he's like, we had a tasty relationship. Yeah. Yeah, and this is where they are.
I love how they cut right to his friend there, who looks like he's praying.
He's praying, yeah.
Funny. I thought that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Flaccid, you're my goat. You're my sheep god. How about that? We love you. Let me see the scene where Jack Nicholson throws Coke on the. Oh, that comes later, but that is White Bear's favorite scene. Yeah,
that is a great scene.
It is great. It's great. But yeah, this is where one of his Costello's guys gets arrested, and his lawyer never shows up. And again, Matt Damon being witty, he's not stupid, figures, hey, I'm going to go in there and pretend to be his lawyer. This is a way for him to tell Costello to watch out because these guys are coming. I don't know how realistic this is. It is, but it's a great scene. And he keeps telling him, like, make your call. Like, stupid. He wanted to, like, smack the guy, basically. Like, just shut up and make your call. Trust me. Listen to what I'm telling you. And he finally does. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be late for supper. Mom. That accent. And then, they warn French, and then they get out of the little hideout they're in, and they burn it down. It's like, God, man, what a life to live, though, right? Whew. Always on the edge.
That's Anthony Anderson, who's one of the main villains in The Shield.
Yeah, he was great. He was great in The Shield.
Really good in The Shield, which I think he did just after this, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was not long after. And I like the because DiCaprio and him were they came up in the academy together. I love the line that he tells it, and this guy, he's like, you're a black cop in Boston. I don't have to tell you, you're completely screwed. It's like he wasn't lying to him. He's the truth. But yeah, this is.
I really like Anthony's acting. Like, I like less of his comedic stuff.
Yeah, he can act. He actually can act. Yeah. I agree.
I haven't seen any of his comedy stuff. I've only seen him in serious roles, and I love him in what I've seen him in.
Mm-hmm. And so you get she spends the night, I think, because she hasn't moved in yet. And it's funny here because this is something that comes into play later on with DiCaprio's character. Like she keeps saying something like, hey, whatever happened last night happens to all guys. You guys make a big deal out of this. And you're like, so he can't get it up. And it's a theme throughout the whole movie. And it's a joke too. Like he even plays it off to his bosses later on. And kind of, one of the underlining reasons why she kind of does things with DiCaprio later on is she's not getting what she needs. It's like it's and she even talks about that right here coming up in a scene with DiCaprio about why you should lie and when it's appropriate. It's like, God, man, the psychology in this movie is fucking great, and how they play off each other is fantastic. This is where she meets DiCaprio. And now let me ask you a question: so DiCaprio has to do this, right? It's part of his undercover work. So
they set that up at the beginning. They say that he's the only contact he's going to have is through a shrink and something.
So do you think this is him just playing this up, or is this really him? Because I know like she doesn't even know what's going on with him. Like he's undercover. So one of the theories is that DiCaprio's playing it up just to get. He actually did need the Valium, right? He needed the drugs to help him because he had so much anxiety, but he was really lashing out at her because he was just so frustrated about everything that's happening in his real life. So how much do you think that was him?
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah,
honestly.
I do too.
That's part of the reason I guess I was bringing up. He has no stabilizing element in his life, and a lot of people like that end up turning to medication. And since she becomes the stabilizing element kind of from here on, but he just has nothing really tying into the normal life, which he desperately wants.
Right.
There's also a close-up of the drugs he's given, which are OxyContin, and you may well have heard from a couple of documentaries and shows that they're incredibly addictive and rather bad for you. Yeah. And I think it's suggesting that he's a pain addict as well as a result of being undercover.
Goodwill was hunted in the end. Whitey is my stabilizing element too. He stabilizes all of us.
Is this your cameo in the film?
It is actually. I didn't want to say anything.
Looking at me.
I'm eating a cannoli. Leave me alone.
Look at this big guy in a wife beater, and look at how well set up he is.
Yeah, not a bad.
It's like they pulled some freaking random. I don't know. The wrong person from the wrong place and put him in like somebody's really nice house and let him eat their breakfast. Like, hey, get in here and start eating our breakfast and look really surprised.
Caught him going through the trash on set. And...
Trash Panda got brought inside the house.
No, he was in.
Should I change? No, you're good. It's like, why do I live here?
Bro, you're fine. Just sit there.
This actor here, he was also in what's that movie with the other Irish guy?
True Lies.
No,
what about Ray Winston here?
Yeah, he was in that not Belgium. Where they're the two of them. What's his name? He played Bullseye on Daredevil.
Oh, Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. What's that movie?
It was also. I mean, it was in Black Widow.
Ray Winstone. I mean, a lot of stuff.
One with Colin Farrell. I'm not sure.
He was also in a movie with Mel Gibson too. I think where his daughter dies, and then I forget what the name of that one was. But yeah, so
Bear in Puss on Boots.
Yeah, I like how I ain't gonna hurt you, and he shoots the guy with a freaking
in Bruges.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, in Bruges. Yeah.
Is Ray Winstone in Bruges?
In Bruges.
Yeah, in Bruges.
Who's he playing in Bruges?
Don't pronounce the S.
I would. I'm a fat bastard. I wouldn't eat his food.
Love it.
But no, who does Ray Winstone play in Bruges?
Oh no. Okay, I mixed them up with another actor.
Oh, you're talking about the other Irish actor.
You're talking about
Brendan
the other Irish actor that was.
That was the guy in Edge of Tomorrow. He was in Edge of Tomorrow.
He was also in Braveheart as well. He's
yeah.
Everybody from Braveheart and threw him in.
What are you trying to say? All Irish people look alike?
Yeah, they all look alike. I can't have
fucking Irish bastards. Yeah, in Bruges, you got it, Tex. You got it. Potatoes.
Ray Winston's also not Irish, just to...
British. Isn't he British?
He is. He's a Cockney. Yeah.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that fast.
In Bruges, by the way, that's a movie you all need to cover on the show. That movie is incredible.
It's a good movie. It
is a good film. Yeah.
I actually prefer that movie over this one. As good as this is, I won't lie.
Hey, that's fine. We'll just never have you on a show again. That's not.
There's more pumpkins than in Bruges.
It's funny because it's true.
It is true. It is. No, it's a good movie. It's all good. Yeah. So it's funny here because he's getting to her, like she's getting annoyed with him, which you're not supposed to do as like a doctor, right? You're supposed to, but she's getting pissed. Yeah.
She's too old for him. She's not under 25.
Well, and it's kind of fascinating because it's like I think this is kind of what like the scene where he kind of gets to show his intelligence because he's intentionally trying to get under her skin.
Oh yeah,
and it's kind of he's reversing her psychology right back on her, and I'm like,
yeah,
he's pushing every button. It's just breaking her. I'm like, I can see why she got this stuff.
And I love the dialogue when she comes out and gives him the prescription and. She goes, "Why is the last patient always the hardest?" And he's right. It's like it's the end of the day and you're tired. You don't give a shit. It's not supernatural. It's true. You ever have that last customer? It happens in my job. That very last person you deal with, you're just like, I gotta get off the phone. Why are you talking to me? Leave me alone. I gotta go. It's almost 5:00 here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You just feel frustrated with that person. It's very common. But yeah, this is where they This is where he kind of snaps, right? He's telling them, I can't do this. This is a year of him being undercover at this point in the movie.
Yeah, he wants out.
He's like, I can't do this anymore. He's like, just arrest this guy. Like, what else do you need? And Mark Wahlberg just keeps pushing him here, man.
Yeah, he just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing him over the edge.
Yeah, he even talks about like how he's a fake, and he punches the guy and he punches Wahlberg.
Yeah, he's like saying stuff like, we're the only people who know you're a cop. What if we just delete your file?
Look at Leonardo. You fucking day. He's like, what do you want him to feed me to the poor? Yeah, but you know what's great here? Why it's such good writing and acting is you're right. You do feel the anxiety. Like the whole the script is written this way. It's like it builds up and builds. And you feel, I was like, not that it was like hard to breathe watching this, but I kind of started getting stressed out. I was like, God, man, I feel like I was undercover.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jesus.
They really achieved their goal of making you feel what Leo's feeling.
There was definitely an impression of my butt in the seat when I got out of the cinema. I remember for sure.
Is Banshees? Oh, Banshees is another movie. Yeah, God.
Banshees of Inisherin. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. I love it.
Zach's being all sophisticated.
That's got the guy that you were thinking of in it.
Yeah, that's also got Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it's directed by the same guy as in Bruges, Martin McDonagh.
I'm going to lurk while I sharpen a chainsaw because I'm not a normal person. We do weird. Okay, well, hey, listen. If they find bodies in his area,
it's October. You can do that, and that's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's normal.
Don't get your beard caught in the chainsaw.
But yeah, like again, they're just still going back and forth, and I just love. She's attractive. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Those blue eyes.
Calm down,
she's cute. We are done here.
Yeah, so she looks good.
Is Sassy getting a matching sort of outfit ready for after the stream?
Yeah, for tomorrow for work. I told her
like a
you're
guide thing.
You get a Boston accent and just start.
Well,
Give me
here's the thing,
psychoanalyze you.
I mean, I go like this: the attire she's wearing. Some women wear it and look too boyish, but the women who pull it off and still look feminine.
It's attractive.
It's a very nice look. Very,
So
like
Miss
Haley
Sassy,
Atwell, we saw her pull it off. In
Mission Impossible
this year too.
Yeah.
Plus, it makes her ass look fat. Fat ass.
Yeah.
She got that cake going. Yeah, so Mrs. Sassy, if you're watching, wear that outfit tomorrow and get a Boston accent and give me some Oxycontins. We're gonna have a party.
Right. That's like a reenactment.
Right? No. It's but it's
Oh man, if your life revolved around the movies that we
could you the rewatch?
The ones that we review for your role play, we're in trouble, bro.
Yeah, let's not do the human centipede on that basis.
The Exorcist is not what you want to review.
No.
Can we talk about the camera angle here?
Yeah. Oh, dude, by the way,
All right, give me the pea soup.
just in case anybody was wondering, we watched The Expendables 4 over the weekend, and my eyes are still trying to recover. My eyes are still trying to recover from how shit that movie was.
I can't believe you put yourself through that.
It was I think it might be one of the worst movies I have ever seen. I mean, ever. It was bad,
and clearly everybody knew that as well.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, just a quick little sidebar. Don't ever watch that movie. It's not worth it. So anyway.
I can tell you how much Jason Statham got paid.
Yeah, and you could tell because he was sleepwalking through the whole movie because he knew he was getting a big paycheck.
Yeah, that's the only
25?
reason he did it. I have that as first-hand knowledge.
25 million?
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was bad. It was, and you could tell it was bad. The CGI looked like video game PS2 graphics.
Oh my god!
Oh, it was. I literally was in pain. My wife was like, "Why are we?" I was like, "I don't know." Megan Fox did. She looked like a plastic doll. And not even the good, like she was hideous looking. She looked fake and plastic, and she can't act anyway.
Starting to look like a brunette, half-inflated Madonna.
That's exactly what. Thank you, love it. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was bad. So anyway, back to The Departed. Good movie. I like how Alec Baldwin's sweating here.
Let's push on.
So this is where they have an undercover operation to get Costello with the processors they were talking about, and Matt Damon didn't know it. Ironically, right? It was kind of sprung upon him, but he pulls it off.
This scene is almost identical to the scene in Infernal Affairs.
Including
it is.
Camera angles and everything.
Yeah, he took a lot.
Yeah.
But imagine having the balls to make this call in front of the captain who's running things, and you're talking to the guy. It's like, oh God, the anxiety is probably, unbelievable.
Yeah, have a poker face.
Exactly. He played it well. He was a great liar, even with his penis. He was a great liar.
That line makes me laugh. Patriot Act.
Yeah, Patriot Act.
Yeah. He's like the one person in America who's ever been excited about that law who doesn't watch it.
So they basically he tells them to turn all the cell phones off except DiCaprio because Costello doesn't know he's the inside guy for the cops. And I like how this scene they meet these Chinese people, and this guy, he's like, we don't have a camera in the back. He's like, what the Alec Baldwin's like, what do you mean we don't have a camera in the back? Like, and he's like, I wish we had the money that some other people had because we don't have the kind of Fed money. And he's like, I couldn't put a camera back there. And you're just like, this is not going to go well.
That's where Wahlberg says one of the funniest lines in the movie. Yeah, I'm the guy who works here. What the fuck do you do?
Oh yeah, I'm the guy doing my job.
He's like, I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. It's like the one great line from this movie I can quote without censoring.
Can we go back one scene? Just one.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry. Look at that scene. Like Nicholson just looks so badass there. Like it's just that is like
the way his
even in his Gilligan's Island hat, he's still kicking ass.
Yeah.
He's just so intimidating. But yeah, he's like, if these people want a new Taiwan in the next century or something, you're like, God damn.
That could prove so timely.
I know.
He's basically explaining America. He's like,
here,
America.
And DiCaprio's giving him information. So everybody knows the buyers are there. Like, you see Damon looking over, like, who's he? I want to get that information.
That shot of Nicholson again. He looks like he could play. Like, well, he did play the Joker, but like he looks like the Joker there. Like, I don't know if you've read or seen The Killing Joke, but he looks like the
Yeah, I
Joker
did.
when he arrives at the door and he shoots Barbara Gordon. And
Yeah.
he looks like that right there, like right
I
there.
have
He
a first
looks like the
edition.
Joker.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he really does.
Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, he was perfect for too bad the Killing Joke animated movie was absolute shit. Well, the
Yeah.
first half
I never
was.
saw it.
Oh, bad.
Still got my first edition of the comic.
Comic is fantastic. The movie is 50 minutes of bullshit, and then the last half hour is the best part.
Bruce Wayne bangs Barbara Gordon, and that's
Yeah,
when I'm
then-
like,
What?
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
It's the most tasteless edition they could have thought
It
of.
is, and I'm like, what is this? And then it gets like good after that because it finally gets into the actual story, and you're just like, what did they do? Anyway, don't ever watch it. It's stupid.
Yeah, but
If you
he
do-
looks like the Joker from that book at the beginning.
He does.
The first arc of
Yeah, he
the
does.
first.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Speaking in Chinese, is that a stereo? Is Amazon doing stereotypes with their captions? This guy? That's fucked up, man.
Amateur, what's up there, bud?
What's up, amateur? I saw him pop in before. Sorry,
It's an
buddy.
AA meeting now.
The cinematography is fantastic. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Scorsese's a master when he's on his game, man. It's he's even sweating even more. Look at Alec Baldwin, and he's getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And he's I like how Nicholson here is like, they figured we didn't have a navy. It's like, oh god, it's so good. He's like, I want to talk to you for a second, right? And he pulls him over. He starts beating the shit out of him. And there's the famous words. There you go. Gord, you want to? Never mind. You want to read that?
You cocksucker.
Yes, sucker.
It's like I can only read like 60% of that sentence.
We don't want your eyes burning up, buddy. Yeah, and then so they're looking for Queen, and he's at a funeral. And Mark Wahlberg's, taking over for the day, and he's like, "Come in, sweetie. We'll get some ice cream and we can talk." It's like, oh, he's just pissing this guy off more and more. And then DiCaprio's trying to tell him like, "Hey, this is what you need to do," because he just wants out at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then it's funny because like he meets up with the doctor here. I forgot what her name in this movie. What's her name again? I forgot. God damn it,
Vera.
I'm so bad. Yeah, Vera.
Madeline,
So she.
Oh, that's the actress's name.
No, that's I'll just call her Vera.
Her name starts with an M. I can't remember.
Yeah.
She's called Madeline in the film.
Okay. So he invites her out and they meet, and like it's funny too because like she's in this relationship with Matt Damon. They've been together for 4 or 5 months, she says, and they live together. And she goes, "It's really serious." Because he asks her a question like, "Do you love him?" And she's just like, "It's a serious relationship." And he's like, "Well, that's not really answering the question, is it?" She hesitates. And then she even says like there's doubts in any relationship, and she's like complaining almost like, oh, there's problems, but who doesn't have, like trying to convince herself that everything's okay.
She's thinking about the peni. That's what's happening.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And she's thinking this dude here is on Oxycontin, can probably rail me harder.
He can't take a shit for a month, but boy,
yeah,
can
but
he bang.
goddamn, he can get it up.
She says, "Well, he's got a real soft spot for me."
Ding, ding, ding. And he even says DiCaprio here, like, what would you do if he was standing there watching us? She goes, "I'd lie, to keep things on an even keel." It's like, it's just she's trying to, and then I love how it cuts right into the next scene where she's moving into Damon's house.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, man, what fucking great script writing this is. Because again, here she's trying to convince herself, right? That this is what she really wants.
The moral
And
of the
again,
story here is don't date a shrink.
Don't date a shrink. And the funny part is that
Because
he's
they
getting
probably got into
because
the
you'll live up to her occupation.
Yeah,
and
they
then
probably got into the profession to help fix themselves, so don't do it.
dude, fucking seriously, man. And then this is again one of those scenes we were talking about earlier, where like earlier, where he's happy, right? He's getting into the whole thing of her moving in, and he's like joking with her, and then the phone rings. Who is it? It's Daddy Costello. And brings him right back down to reality.
I'm disappointed that she's wearing a shirt that says Harvard instead of the ones they sell in Boston that say Harvard.
Yeah, right. Harvard.
Well, my sister literally, she loved that shirt so much she bought it. It's just like HAAHVARD, just Harvard.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's great.
It should have said hard on.
Well,
she don't want to wear that in front of him. That's just taunting.
Sending a cerebral message to him.
She is toxic, and you find out later on she fucks up a couple of guys' lives. But I like how Costello is pissed off here he's just like yelling at him. He's like, "Do you like sucking? You know, do you like what's her name sucking out? You know, whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, very much." He got his head down. Yeah, very much, very much. But and she's watching his mannerisms, and he's just not happy here. And again, and then he even tells him like, "Calm down, you know, whatever. And then he's having a panic attack here. Matt Damon's character. He's like, "Get me the security numbers. Get me social security numbers. Give me. I'll you know, because he knows Costello's not happy with him, and if he's not, he probably loses everything he's got, right? Because he's going to have no backup. And so, very poor Matt Damon. You want to feel bad for him in this movie a lot. I was trying to see if I could have any empathy for him, and I'm just like, nah, you put yourself in this position, dude. But I get that this guy was your father figure for you, but you still, when you get old enough, right from wrong, he's just, you know.
I couldn't feel anything for him other than like
I didn't either. No.
Yeah.
I couldn't either. I was like, yeah, you put yourself in this predicament. I like this part here. Again, great dialogue between Nicholson and the police. And I like how where the real microprocess is Frank. And I like how there's the back and forth. And I even says, yeah, he goes, I can't wait to put your ass in jail. He's like, would you rather wipe my ass for me? It's like so fucking good. I was laughing.
Nicholson can rock that color suit.
Dude, seriously.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Barely even noticed that he's wearing a pink suit.
What do you think she's
like a Joker suit?
What do you think she's thinking here? Like, am I going to have to get a 10-inch toy, or is he going to be able to do me one?
Yeah.
Like,
she's just thinking Matt Damon.
Matt
That's all she can think is.
I wonder what Billy Costigan's doing right now.
He is in the Film Actors Guild, but
yeah.
I'll bet Billy's standing at attention right now.
I gotta go. I got a date with some angels. He says, yeah. and then again, here's the big part of a big plot part of the movie where this guy, I guess, supposedly is giving money to the Italians in Providence instead of Costello, and he's like, I'm not going to give money to a guy who's an FBI informant. You know, like, DiCaprio just goes fucking nuts here. He's like, wait, what are you talking about? And he actually shoots the guy in the leg to get information out of him. But yeah, I guess this kind of makes sense, right? As to why he's still undercover, because he's not going to get, if the FBI is not going to prosecute him, then they're probably telling the state police he's an informant, and he doesn't know that till now. And it's like, so he realizes here, like, you got to be kidding me. I'm still in this because the FBI is protecting a murderer. Which happened in real life with Whitey Bulger. It was the truth. His buddy was protecting him.
Yeah.
And that did not turn out well. Yeah. And then this is where DiCaprio goes to meet Martin Sheen's character, and he didn't want him to, because they're supposed to be, kind of separated while he's undercover, but he's a nice guy. He's just he plays a good character, right? He gives him dinner and he talks to him, and Martin Sheen played this character very well.
Yeah.
He did a great job here. And then this is White Bear's favorite scene.
It's Martin Sheen.
This is right before that scene.
Right.
Oh,
no.
So look, he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't discriminate. See?
I looked up what this actress has done, by the way, the black girl.
I bet you did.
It was my obligation trivia for the that was entirely the reason. And much to my surprise, she's only got 2 credits. So I bet she met somebody really well.
I can see both of them right now.
Right after this film.
Yeah. And I like this scene because when you first watch this movie, you're like, what the hell's going on here? It just goes to show you the lengths of how crazy this guy is.
This little ginger-haired lady she's a nice looking woman too.
Yeah, she is.
She is a lovely woman.
That's the face White Bear makes when he's making pizzas.
This is the face I'm making right now.
Oh, thank you, Whitey. Oh, God. Wait, hold on a second. Oh.
Whitey, why are you covered in cocaine?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting into character.
Even whiter bear.
I like how Nicholson goes, like, go down there, and he's like, don't come up until you're numb. Like,
that better be pure Colombian, Whitey.
Yeah. Hope it's not
That's
something
why
else.
you're called White Bear. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pure Colombian. That's what all I gotta say.
Yeah, you're right. The snowfall. It's just it's so good. She's thinking, does he get pegged when I'm at work? Oh, when the doctor was moving in. Yeah.
She's thinking in rhetorical questions.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they walk in and they want all the information the account numbers and all this. And this is a funny scene where the guy can't spell the word citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which becomes a crucial plot point.
Big plot point at the end.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Not
fuck this,
see
I'm
that
leaving.
coming.
This is where she makes a big kind of mistake here. But technically, and it's funny too, like she's just really giving in to DiCaprio's character throughout the whole. She's kind of just, her little cracks are coming apart against him. And she's just involved. And she even says at one point, like, you're being very vulnerable, and she likes it, but because it's not something he normally does when she's around. And yeah, I'm wondering, like, because they don't tell you in the movie, but he's been undercover for a year, so they probably interacted a lot in this time when he's going to constantly visit her. So so you kind of just have to
fill in the gaps there.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I'm watching this today, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I didn't realize this before, but they're probably just, you have to remember that he's been doing this a long time. But yeah, she's like, I'm moving out. I'm moving with my boyfriend, and she's just like, she easily could have said, you got to leave. Like, I don't want you here. But again, she probably hasn't gotten laid in about a year. So she goes in after
she slipped and ended up on his
wee.
Yeah,
Roman.
and filling in the gap. There you go. And of course, they're playing the fucking song they're playing is one of the best songs ever written. There you go, Gore. That's for you, buddy.
Oh wow.
That's what I looked over and saw. I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
I think that's Whitey body doubling that shot with the pan.
And I love, again,
it's a very good scene.
Excellent.
But whose version of Comfortably Numb did they use for that? Is that?
It wasn't Pink Floyd, no.
Yeah, it wasn't Pink's, but it's, I don't know if it was the, the other singer.
Pink. Gaps Pink. What the hell's going on here? This is a family-friendly show, Gordon.
You've been around me too long.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we don't have Vex on here.
I know. She can't rein us in. But I like how, again, it cuts
what Vex does.
Well, we don't talk about that off the end. That's just for us in our group chats. So yeah, I love this again, just the way this is filmed and edited, and just they go right into the next scene where Baldwin's talking to him about how they want him to run and basically investigate everybody in his unit, right? That could be undercover because they can't find this guy. And they're like, yeah, because I guess they're planned on getting married. He mentions, like, how's your wedding going? He's like, oh, it's good. And they're like, oh, what people see you with a ring, they know you're stable. You're not a homo.
Yeah.
You're successful. And he's like, and he even talks about like how you're getting laid a lot. And he's like, oh yeah, it's going overtime. And he's trying to like sell it.
Yeah.
And Baldwin's like, I'm very happy to hear that. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
God.
Baldwin's got coke nose in that
shot?
In that scene, yeah, man. Looks like he's got it around his mouth too.
Oh.
As a professional, I'd like to say yes, but
got to get Whitey's opinion on that.
Let's examine this moment. But as him as a person, I don't care for him, but the dude commands some damn respect in a lot of these movies that he plays in, especially.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he really is, and I believe
he's talented. He's just an asshole.
Yeah, I stand behind him 100%. But
yeah, we're really glad that despite being a cop, he didn't have a gun in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. But Cannoli, I agree with you. The transitions from the scenes is really well done.
It's fantastic
because they all kind of mesh in nicely.
Yeah,
that's Thelma Shoemaker for you. Scorsese's editor, pretty much through on every movie almost. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the best in the business.
Oh, this is what
so women can actually do that.
I'm probably gonna have to pass through this scene because there's a lot of naughty things that are shown on the screen here.
Oh, come on!
Is this where they use the footage from the sassy shower cam, or?
Well, I wasn't gonna show that, but
Oh, okay.
You don't see much. You just get the idea.
Save that for the deleted scenes.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want Roman.
This is what they mean by extended version.
Roman's like, when I was in the military. Each act is broken up with a close on to a tight circle. Yeah, it's freaking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is where DiCaprio's staking out Damon, and they just kind of have a little cat and mouse game here, and pretty good. It's a pretty good scene.
Yeah, really well done.
really well done. And then I like how Damon thinks he has the drop on the guy, and he stabs a Chinese delivery man.
Yeah,
delivering egg rolls, kills him.
Stop Asian hate.
Yeah, right. It's bullshit, man. Yeah, and then he tries to use the cameras because he's a cop. He has access to the street cameras, and he can't get a good look at them. And it's pretty good.
They have the same cameras that they got in the White House.
Yeah. Dude, I know. And of course, this is my favorite part. One of my favorite scenes in the movie where he comes in and you got Nicholson here talking about how. And you noticed that? Did you see what he was drawing? I can't show it here, but he was drawing the Capitol Beacon Hill building with rats going towards it. It's just like, oh God, fucking nice little. I love those little tidbits they throw in there. And I love DiCaprio here. He's got balls, man. Like his character's like, are you sure it's not the FBI who's got the rat? And I love how he's like, nah, it ain't the FBI. Knowing what we know now, he just plays it off like, nah. I know it's not.
Did they pass each other in the room yet? Or was that later, where DiCaprio and Damon pass each other?
No, that's later, isn't it?
Is it later? I thought it was earlier in the movie.
There's a very. I mean, are you talking about when they pass each other in the station, or?
Is it in the station? I know they pass each other.
They do. There is a scene when because they do their interviews at the beginning of the movie, one after the other, so they pass each other there. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end again.
With the girlfriend, right?
No, I'm thinking when at the end when he finally realizes who he is after everything's over.
Yeah, they don't see each other again until.
Yeah, they don't. I was going to say, they don't cross paths after at all.
The
really,
end.
Till the very end.
Even at the beginning, I don't think they really see each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the movie theater part was the closest, and then again at the end. Yeah, but he's asking him like, "Do you have a wife? Do you have an old girlfriend?" He's like, well, yeah, "Why did you leave when?" I was asking for all the numbers, and he's being very suspicious. And DiCaprio plays this great. You see his fear and anxiety in his eyes, and he's tired. He's just sick of all this. But this is where good acting, man. He sells it, and you can feel it. And he's getting angry at him, and he's basically tells him straight out, like, "If you threaten my life, I'm going to put a bullet in your head." I love how Nicholson pulls the fucking gun out, and he's like looking. It's just done so well because he's nuts. But he was so perfect for this.
He's not impressed with the size of the gun.
No.
Yeah. It's like,
this should be Matt Damon's problem in this movie.
Yeah. Okay. I did have to pull this clip.
Got this rat, this gnawing, key-eating fucking rat.
So good. I had to pull. I was like, I love that scene in the movie. One of that is my thumbnail. So that was perfect.
That's the face Whitey makes when he eats his pizza.
I got this cheese pizza. This gnawing.
It's the face with all the cheese afterwards that he has to pass through.
When he's on the toilet. I can't get it out.
I've actually got cheese rolled around a salami slice right now. I shit you not.
Looks at the slice like Jack looked at the gun, just like, what is this?
Guys are all
Bless
sick.
it.
That. Bless that salami.
Bless
cheese.
it.
Yeah, I like how he's even telling him. He's like, "Why do you even take the risk that you do? You're 70-something years old. You don't need the money." And I like how he's like, "I never needed the money since I stole whatever his name lunch money back in grade school." And he's like, "I don't need the vajayjay either. I just like it." It's like, all right.
He's almost giving him an out there.
Yeah.
That's a kind of father son. He looks up to him there for a brief. Brief minute or so. And if Nicholson's answer had been something else, he might have that could have been a moment where he could have been really conflicted. But because he just comes back with, "No, man, I'm just fucking nuts."
Yeah, and this is where Frenchie tells him, like, "Next time I tell, look at his face here." He's like, "Oh shit!" And he hears like Costello coming from behind, and really you don't know what's going to happen. Like, and of course you're not thinking, "Oh, they're not going to kill the main character." Like this late into the movie, it's like, oh god, you never know though. It's just it's great. And then they have this interaction here with these two guys. Yeah, basically tells you how he feels about Matt Damon's character right there.
Yeah. Wahlberg just hates him.
He hates him.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably a bit of that in real life too.
Probably.
Well, don't see him hanging out together much,
No, probably not. And I love how he's trying to pick the captain's brain here. He's like, yeah, any suggestions on how I find this guy? And it's like, the whole time you just want to scream at the TV, like, dickhead. God, you're such a dickhead. Ah, God, that must be think about like, and okay, so this scene comes up here when he's with the girlfriend in bed. That was a great movie, Witches of Eastwick. Great movie. He was a psychopath in that movie. It was so good.
The scene with the grapes. The cherries.
Cherries. She's spitting them out. Yeah.
Cherries. Yeah.
So he's talking about going to law school here. Like, I guess he even said like he went to law school. He just never finished earlier in the movie. So she starts crying. Like, he's like, he's looking for a way out. Like, I want to get out of this life. I want to stop being a cop. I want to be a lawyer. I want to get out of this city if I can. She starts getting upset. So do you think at this point that she knows like what's going on with him and what he's doing, or is she just crying because she feels bad that he's like?
I think she's
just
crying.
Sleep with DiCaprio.
I think
that's true.
I think she's crying because she's pegging him in this scene and he's not reacting.
He's comfortably numb.
Oh yeah, that's true. So is she crying because she feels guilty about what she did with DiCaprio?
You're so hollow. I didn't even have to spit first.
Oh, come on.
Whitey, I love it when I set it up and you take it further. That's always good, man.
It's what that powder does to him. Yeah, so he's looking for a way out. I love these two guys in the front.
This is a great scene.
Yeah.
It's Drake from Aliens.
Yeah. He's a cop. She's a cop. Like, yeah. They're like, oh, if he doesn't look at you, he's a cop. Look at this guy's a cop.
It reminds me of that scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin. You know how I know you're gay. That scene.
It's a cop thing. Yeah, probably, Jay. You're probably right. That's why she was crying. Like, I have to move to a new city, and I still won't get laid. Yeah. This is the part where he
splits on a blade of grass.
Now, if you see this guy come out of the back of a restaurant with blood all over him, and he's like, I go home, I'm going to use a new crew. And he's like, oh. DiCaprio even says, like, oh, I thought I was on for this. He's like, go home. And the other guy, French, he's like, listen, there's guys who answer the questions right. He's like, just fucking go do what you're told. Like, but God, imagine how scary that would be. See this guy come out of the back of a room with blood all over him.
Either Frenchie started his period or somebody just got killed.
Yeah. I generally suspect that Whitey has Matt Damon blow up doll hitting in his chicken coop. Oh, probably. Matt Damon.
Yeah, you gotta have
Ben Affleck definitely has one of those.
Imagine this scene. Like, this guy's already anxiety's through the roof. He comes out. He doesn't know these guys are playing this game with people in the street. And imagine hearing those words. You're a cop, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, that was funny. Played it perfectly.
Yeah. So they're trying to do a thing here where he's telling Queen in the captain guy what's going on, and then Matt Damon again. He's not stupid. He figures a way to try to get out of this, right? So he's going to tell his guys that Captain Queen is the actual the rat, and of course, like, well, why are we like him of all people? But he's like, yeah, I have a reason to believe this. Let's follow him, because he realizes that he's probably going to go meet with his guy, his snitch, and it's like, okay. So the way they play this is great. And poor Martin Sheen, man, he gets done so dirty in this.
Well, this is where it gets really intense. Like,
it starts ramping up here. Yeah.
I really hated to see this part.
It was awful. Yeah, so they're basically just following each other, and he meets him upstairs, and he's telling him about what's going on. And then Martin Sheen's character's like, "Fuck it." He's like, "All right, I can't do this to you anymore. You gotta go. I'll get you out. It's gonna take a while, but let's do this." And then Costello calls him again. Oh no, Delahunt. Yeah, the other guy is like calling him and saying, "Hey, we found the rat." Can you imagine this point though? Like, everything's finally culminating into one spot. He's got to get him out of there. They're coming after him. Technically, it's like, holy shit. You're right, Jay. It's like, if your anxiety wasn't high before, it's even higher now, because you're like, oh shit, how are they gonna get out of this? Like, they're on their way there. Like, what do you do? But yeah, this is done, and he's just sitting in the dark. I like how they have him sitting in a dark room while all this is going on. It's dark, like his soul.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
It puts an overcast on the scene there, like,
yeah. Yeah, this part, man. Yeah, so they capture the queen and they're like, oh, you're, and they throw him off the fucking roof, man. Like that scene was one of the one shocking things. Seeing this in the movie theater, you just see his body. I was like, oh my god, they did that. Yeah, and DiCaprio just feels so fucking guilty here. His face says it all. It's just great acting, and then you.
Also, you find out later. I want to spoil one of the twists, but you obviously find out later that somebody is not who they appear to be in the game.
Yeah.
And you wonder how did that person feel during that sequence when they knew they were a party to a murder? How does that? And I feel like, well, we'll see it in a bit because it's coming up pretty soon. I feel like in the scene that's coming up when they reveal who they are. This is a person who's been undercover for so long that they've actually almost
just lost himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
the Donnie Brasco.
I realized John Wick survived that fall, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Of course.
That's an automatic survivor in a John Wick. Yeah,
he falls downstairs.
Black Widow and John Wick survived that same kind of fall. Maybe
not only does he survive, he gets up and runs and kills 18 people on the way out.
I don't think he's quite upset about the character dying. I think he's more upset about what Marky Mark is going to do to his ass.
Oh yeah, there was that anxiety too.
Who's going to?
I don't know. I don't know. He's Mark. This guy's pretty big.
Yeah,
the actor. He's about 6'3", 4". He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Wahlberg is not.
No. Yeah. So there's a shootout between the cops and this guy gets shot, and then they just kind of get away, and he's just sitting there, and then it's like, oh god, he set this all up to get out of his predicament, right?
And it's all gone a bit Pete Tong, as we say in the UK.
Yeah. And then this is where Wahlberg's like, he fucking goes after Damon here. He's like, fuck you. Why did you do this? Why are you having him followed? Punches him, which felt really good to me when he punched him in the face. That was nice. Yeah,
I think this is probably the moment where he suspects he's corrupt.
Probably.
Yeah, because he knows his boss is not corrupt.
Yeah.
So that can only be the reason.
And look, that's how tall Marky Mark really is. Look,
shut the fuck up.
That's the shot they did when he's not standing on his boxes.
Nobody calls me a liar.
Give me the crate. Come at me when I am on my crate.
Toss me, Aragorn.
They always have crates for Seth Green on set, just so you know.
Yeah, and I love how Marky Mark's like, he's like, I'm your boss. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll resign. He's like, oh, the world needs bartenders too.
Yeah, that's a great line.
And then he puts him on like a leave for 2 weeks, and then this is when they kind of go after DiCaprio a little bit. He's like, where the fuck were you? What's going on? And then the guy calls him over, that cop. I get to that. See if I can show him here.
Yeah.
Why is it? Yeah. See, and it's like, he's like, oh, I gave you the wrong address, but yet you found the correct address. And tell me why I didn't say anything. And you're just like, oh shit. Like he was undercover. It's just like, wow, there's little twists and turns. There's more coming too. That's the fun part. Like shocking moments.
I thought at first when I was watching the movie and this scene happens, at first I thought he did it to test him because he's still one of the bad guys, but he didn't give him up because he likes him. And then suddenly he drops the dime that he's an undercover cop, and I was like, shit. Well, hang on. If he's an undercover cop, he just was party to killing.
Yeah, so, we are doing very bad Massachusetts accent.
You need her in here.
I'm afraid I'm English. I'm not able to do a.
Listen, I'm originally from New York.
Accent.
I can do my own accent badly, but I can't do a.
It's sacrilegious as it is. I don't mind if I fuck it up.
I'll do a Cockney. It's a gangster film, right? I'll do a London Cockney and then we can go with that for my version of the accent there.
Yeah, so like imagine DiCaprio's character. You're his character, and you realize this guy's been undercover and God knows how long, or since you've known him. Like his face is like, holy shit! Like how many people did they have infiltrating this gang and trying to do that? Like imagine the emotions you would have here. It's got to be a pretty big moment. Like you're like, holy shit, man! Like what is going on?
You basically find out that it's paralleled again. It's like there's two inside of Hoskins and there's two inside the department.
I will say, as a purebred masshole, there's two massholes in every. That's a good one. Best actor.
Oh, great! I'm surrounded by massholes.
You know what? Johnny Depp. Yeah, he did it great in Black Mass, and he actually was great in Donnie Brasco. He pulled off that in Italian.
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah. Like that movie is
like.
Oh, it's one of my
so underrated.
That movie made like yeah, that movie to me put him in that category where after, like, this guy's a talented, really good actor. Because everybody was like, he's 21 Jump Street. Like, what the fuck cares? He can't play an Italian. All my family was like, Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. Blew my mind when we saw it, though.
21 Jump Street was great.
I love the show, but I just think people didn't take him as seriously as an actor until Donnie Brasco.
I followed his career.
Serious
He was in Platoon, and I thought
he was good in
that, and he has
Platoon.
almost no lines.
Yeah, he's a good actor. But yeah, Donnie Brasco was fantastic. Yeah, I like the scene.
About it.
That's terrible, Matt. Come on, put some effort into it, Gord. God. I love you, Gord. I'm just kidding, buddy. Yeah, so I like how he's like Digman. He's like, what is the line he says? He's like, he's got such a hard on for me. We'll give him a whiff of my ass, and he'll crawl right up it. Like, oh, that's a nice image.
I think a whiff of Jack Nicholson's ass would be enough to kill anyone stone dead.
Oh my god!
I love this scene where he looks at his wife. He's like, "You're giving me a hard on," and she's like, "Well, it's not all that talk about whiffing." He's like, "Watch your fucking mouth."
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Thanks for coming in, Kayla. I'm sorry for ruining your masshole accents.
Oh
make
no,
fun of, you can make fun.
She
of
would
me.
be perfect for this. She with her accent. She's a mass. She's a
Mass.
Salem, Massachusetts girl.
Oh yeah. And I like how so DiCaprio goes to see her, and she's basically like, I can't do this with you anymore. Like, it's, and he knows it too, because he goes, I know. He knows it's got to end, but poor guy, man. He's been through the ringer, and he can't even dick down a beautiful psychiatrist anymore.
I'm gonna miss your 10 inches, DiCaprio.
It's the only thing I've gotten lately.
I would have put you onto the door.
Now I've got to go back to Matt Damon.
Oh, White Bear! Wow, what's going on here? He is on cocaine right now, so it might be.
Is that a euphemism code word? Is that like the daddy, I'm going to be late for dinner kind of thing going on there?
Hey, I got connections everywhere, so
Judging by the amount of powder on your face, man, you've got some connections.
Well, okay, I told these guys to do accents. They didn't want to do them. Actually, they've tried, but it's not easy.
I'll do the Cockney accent just for you, Kayla. So like the Ray Winston, bordering on Michael Caine there for a moment.
But I love this scene where Matt Damon takes the captain's phone. He's got the balls to call DiCaprio. Like, oh, but it's great though. Like the cat and mouse game here, the back and forth, the anxiety. Yeah. You're just like, is he actually going to answer it and talk to him? And he does. He's like, you're calling from a dead guy's phone. It's like, oh god, the dialogue is so damn good.
If Harvey Weinstein had edited that scene, it would have been like 3 seconds long.
Yeah. He's like, let me talk to Dignam, which is Marky Mark's character, and he's like, nah, it's better for you just to come in. And he's like, nah, no thanks, dude, not doing it. And this is where he finds out he's an informant, right? Because the McQueen had information on this after DiCaprio told him. So could you imagine, like, you're Matt Damon, you're doing all this bullshit that can get you in trouble or killed or fired or in jail, and you find out this guy's ratting out to the FBI. Like, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
Oh, all these years. I love doing English accent. I probably stuck at it because I primarily imitated an old co-worker and shows on BBC. It's all right.
There's a lot of different.
I can't do a good Boston accent is because you have to insert the F word between every other word.
Yeah, Gord doesn't say.
We've got about 50 accents, Kayla. I'm sure you can come up with one.
Yeah, so the cop. This is where they find out the guy was a cop, right? On the news.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, but they don't believe it.
No, he can't. He's like, I put that guy in the mash. I buried him in the mud, and I love Nicholson's. He's like, when I tell you to bury a body in the marsh, you dump him in the marsh. Yeah, not where some asshole gets a blowjob.
There's no laws.
Yeah, there are no laws, and that's where his accent. It's like in and out the whole movie with Nicholson, but you just don't give a shit because it's him, right? He just whatever. And then we're getting to the good stuff here at the end, where he tells. Yeah, this is where Damon tells Costello he's got a tail, and he's like, "Oh, drop the fucking," Costello's not having it anymore. He's like, whatever. I'm just looking. Even after DiCaprio warns him, right? He's just like, whatever. But Damon again finally sees his way out of this for good, like forever. He's gonna tell his superiors what's going on because he's gonna play up the angle where he has the captain's phone who was thrown off the roof now. He talked to his informant, and this is the information he got. And again, Matt Damon's his character's not stupid. He's a great manipulator and a great liar, so he knows how to like maneuver this shit around and get people to do things. It's crazy. And
this really is a movie filled with smart people.
Yeah, it is.
A lot there's a lot of competent people.
There is. And I love how DiCaprio here is telling him, like, are you sure? Like, you weren't tailed again? Are you sure that there wasn't somebody else that was pulled off and put back on you? And he's just like, whatever. Let's just get the fuck out of here. And DiCaprio's smart here. He's like, yeah, he told me to go check the back and see what's going on. And then this is where all hell breaks loose. And the police kind of swarm in. And this scene was great. There's a shootout. I love how love how he's right. And then he gets out of the car, and I didn't even notice this because you see the bullet hole in Jack Nicholson's stomach later. There's a scene where you see him get shot really quick here when he's getting out of the car. And I was always wondering, like, how did he get like, you just assumed he got shot while he was running away or something, but you actually see the blood spurt come out. And his boy Frenchie, he's like, fuck it. I like how he shoots himself half a second before the car explodes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Because burning to death is pretty painful.
Yeah.
You ain't
Gotta
gonna
talk
wanna go
asshole. Turn O to a don't say R, angry and swear. Yeah. I could probably pull that off. New York accents are different, but we do the same thing where we curse every 5 seconds. So yeah, I like this where he's calling Matt Damon and he hears the phone. He's holding the phone up. He's like, are you effing kidding me? The FBI? And he's just like, yeah, do they know who I am? Like, that's his first thought. Like, did you give them any information on me? You know, and because all the stuff I've been doing for you. And he's like, no, I haven't. Look at his face here. He's like, I know you.
He's giving him the cocaine face.
Yeah, that's White Bear after he eats four pounds of pizza and cheese.
And on cocaine.
It's worth it.
That's the blood pizza.
Like, Whitey, how much did you have? And he's just like,
and it's funny too because he tells him here, he's like, oh, you're like a son to me. He's like, oh yeah, you know, all that effing and screwing all your life and you have no sons. And he gets pissed off at him. He tries to shoot Matt Damon's character and boom, he gets him back. That's a good shot right there. That's a good shot. Yeah. Hey, Bagface, what's up?
Yo, Bagface.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. It's we chose this movie again because Scorsese's new movie coming out, and I was like, let's do The Departed.
You look in that picture, you can see Matt Damon's finally got a hard on in that picture.
A little bit right there on his left pocket. Yeah, well, that's not his keys. He's not, and he's just happy to finally be done with this.
Yeah.
Lizzie Blom would be mostly
went from limp to gimp.
Wait, so this is the only time that he can get a hot on, you know.
There you go, Whitey.
See the psychiatrist 5 times before they make out.
I'm gonna go home and screw my girlfriend now. Yeah, he gets him good, and the phone rings and it's his wife. He's like, "Oh, where's Frank?" And he's like, "We lost Frank." He's like, "Oh shit, there goes her life." Yeah, but he this is a means to an end. He's finally done, right? And he would have, you know what the funny thing is here? I'm going to ask you a question here. So everybody's congratulating him. And then this is where Costigan comes back and the cop here, Anthony Anderson's like, oh, I knew him. I went to the academy with him. So they introduce each other. He's going to get paid and get his identity and his freedom back. So there's a means to an end for both of them here, right? DiCaprio's done with this. He can go do whatever he wants. Matt Damon's like, I got away with it. I don't have to do this bullshit anymore with this guy.
Did you see like guilt in Matt Damon's character during any of that? Like, congratulations. Like,
I think it was more a little bit of guilt and a lot of relief. Just like, okay, this is finally over. I can move on. But yeah, I can say that. Yeah. What's up, Jacob?
Yeah,
hey, buddy.
Jacob.
So here's my thing here. So he goes to use the other computer to get his identity back, right? He gives him the password. And so he sees the envelope with citizens on the desk, right? That's the envelope Costello gave him to run the background check. So I know they had to do this for movie purposes and drama. If you're DiCaprio's character, he sneaks away, right? He gets out because he figures, oh shit, I can't trust this guy. Would you have played it up? You didn't know, take the money, leave, and then report him? Or do something else to catch him and so to not raise suspicions by Matt Damon in this? Like, do you think it was such, or was that just the emotional thing? He was so just frustrated at this point, he had to get away. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because I think he should have played it up, took the money, and then left, and then tried to get him caught. Like,
well, it would have been less dramatic if.
There you go.
For the film.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm thinking like logically, like this is probably not the best way to do this because you're going to just put a target on yourself again. This guy could literally just delete your whole freaking existence, right? So.
I have a bigger issue with that as a plot point. The fact that this one person via this one terminal can delete a file on a person that's going to completely wipe it off the main database everywhere else. I don't think that would actually be physically possible.
No,
nor would it be part of procedure. It would, it would be on record with various different
agencies, or you would figure Alec Baldwin, since he's technically in charge now, he would have access to this.
So like, I mean, it's a good plot device, but it doesn't really hold up.
Right, I'll give you that. Yeah. So yeah,
he's just probably my one criticism of the film. Actually, I think it's probably the only one I have.
So he goes to see the girlfriend.
It's retarded.
It's retarded. There you go.
It's retarded.
Why bear? It's retarded.
It's retarded.
So he comes to her and he gives her an envelope and he's like, "Don't open this until I call you. Right? You're the only one I can trust. So don't do anything with it." And then he say something like, "If I don't come back within 2 weeks, you can open," or something like that. What did he say? Or I'll get in touch with you in a few weeks.
It's the code to the playroom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If you still want me to tell you, what's in 2 weeks? Yeah. So. She writes his name on. So this part here, he comes. That's later. So Matt Damon's laying down here, and he gets the picture, and it's a baby. She's pregnant. So I don't know how much time has passed here. I don't know. It's really not. You don't really have to be super intelligent to put 2 and 2 together. He can't get it up, and DiCaprio did. So we just assume it's DiCaprio's baby at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't make it seem like he can never get it up. They just have it
happens.
He had a moment. I mean, so
I'm just assuming though.
I would assume it's happened a few times, just not as often as she likes.
So I would only say it's DiCaprio's because they just you don't know how long it's been. Obviously, I don't know if it's been 9 months or whatever. How many months? I don't know how long it takes to find out, but like a few months. But DiCaprio did sleep with her, and then I'm just saying, like, if I'm putting it together, it's probably not his kid, or if they're sleeping together she's sleeping with 2 guys around the same time. She can't be sure. I know they don't make a big deal out of it here. I'm just saying it's
they usually find out around 6 to 10 weeks after.
Okay.
So.
All this analysis of this situation sounds very personally based. I'm just saying.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to talk about that after the stream. No, I'm just kidding. I need some advice, guys.
But this is the stream with Sassy Scratch got shower time.
Well, that's just for me. It's not. It's a personal. That's a private.
I didn't mean all the mods. I didn't mean all of us.
We did say we're going to eat fat.
That's a different movie.
We're a team here on MMM.
That's a Rumble stream. We don't do that on YouTube.
Yeah, Rumble, definitely.
There you go. She's a whore.
She's a whore.
She's a whore.
See, in Boston, they say whore, and in New York,
clam chowder.
If you ever watch The Sopranos in New York, New Jersey, you say hooah. They don't say the whole word. They say she's a hooah, and in Boston, it's a whore. See, we're sick people from the East Coast. Yeah, she's a whore.
And in London, we just say she's on the game,
Yeah,
on the game.
You people are special over there, Lance.
Yeah, special need. We're all special needs over here.
So she gets the CD of Costello recorded everything without them knowing, and so she gets to listen in on their little meeting they had in the porn theater, basically. And she's like, okay. Now she's like, okay, I had my doubts before. Now she's got a way out of the relationship, right? He's a liar. She doesn't trust him. She knew there was something about him. And then, and it's funny how like DiCaprio, this kid, Sullivan, Matt Damon's character, was basically like, Costello was like his dad. And he didn't even trust him enough to tell him there were recordings, but he tells DiCaprio, right? He leaves this stuff for him. And it's like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. like everything that Sullivan did for him, and DiCaprio's the one that gets his trust at the end. It's like, oh man, that's got to be bad. Yeah.
Well,
So he meets up.
you got to think of it from Costello's perspective. Is like in his mind is like, okay, as much as I care about this guy, he leads a double life. How could I actually trust him?
That's a smart move. Yeah, that's a smart idea. That's very true. Costello wasn't stupid, like you said. There's a lot of smart characters, and I like how he captures him, and he beats the shit out of Damon, which felt really good. He's just like, "Shut the fuck," and he's beating the shit out of me. You're like, "Oh yes."
Just pistol whipping the crap out of him.
Yeah, and this is where this guy comes up. He called him personally. He's like, "You know who I am. Like, you know me. That's why I called you. You can trust me." And he lets him go. Now we're getting to the scene here in the elevator. Which, holy shit, man! Like the last 12 minutes of this movie. So
yeah,
and I love how Damon plays this here because he's like, just kill me. And you can tell he's like starting to get teared up and like anxious because he's like, I'm dead. Just kill me anyway. And he's like, and I love DiCaprio's line, like, I am killing you, meaning like you're going down. And it's like, oh, when the fucking elevator door opens up, man. Oh God, it was so bad. Like that in the movie theater. The whole movie was just that, like, oh my God, like that kind of gasp.
Yeah, really.
You could hear everybody. You were like, whoa. And my Mrs. Sassy, even she's like, what? Just like it took you a second to realize what happened because it was so shocking.
I did that.
They give you, it's one of those. They give you no time to process it.
No,
it's just boom, it's over.
And again, this movie was nominated for Best Picture. One of the reasons why it almost wasn't I did. No, I'm saying, but like the reason it almost was taken out, I read, is because of this scene right here with all this fucking violence. Because they were like, we can't nominate a movie that has all this violence. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, because violent movies have never won Best Picture.
Never won Best Picture.
That's never happened.
And then you find out the guy, his cop buddy from the beginning of the movie, Costello, had him on the payroll as well. You're just like, all these things, you're just like, holy shit. And it just, he kills his buddy here. And he's like, Costello had me on the payroll. It's just you and me now. And, he was an FBI informant and all this shit. And then I love how Damon turns around and just shoots him. And you're like a whole 1-2 minute scene. You're just like, what the hell happened? Just wild shit, man.
It's all so quick.
It is so quick. Yeah, it's so quick.
It's interesting how there's actually two undercovers and both directions in the show. Yeah, ultimately,
unbelievable. And then this is where they give Costigan his funeral. She's upset. She's like, "Oh, that's my baby daddy. That's my baby daddy." Oh, maybe. Matt Damon's thinking she still wants to bone him, even though he's dead.
I wonder if she wants my boner.
Boner.
My boner.
I hear rigor mortis is really stiff.
Oh God. Yeah, this is a good scene though. Like how they're showing, I love the camera angles they use here to portray her. And then she's like, I don't want to have anything to do with you, man. She just walks right. And this guy loses everything just like that. Like he was at the highest of highs in the beginning to the lowest lows. And I love this scene here.
He hasn't really low. He's still a cop at this. I mean, his story
is a cop,
ends out as far as everyone else is concerned.
That's true. Likes him. The dog don't even like him.
Yeah, the dog. The lady
from my dog.
Like everybody hates this guy, and
the dog senses evil.
Yeah,
evil. I love this.
This is so beautiful right here.
Yeah, justice finally, and he knows it. And it's funny. He goes, "Okay," and he turns his head like, "Just shoot me." I know what's gonna happen here. And he like, look at that shot. That's a beautiful shot. It's like, yeah, my donuts are gonna be ruined.
As soon as you see his feet, his feet are covered in the plastic.
Yep, the plastic.
Yeah,
that's a great moment.
Shot.
Very, very good, fellas.
Great shot here. And then you get the ending with
those are donuts. Those are bagels.
Yeah.
That's how you know
he's a bagel.
What's up, Hypnotic?
Jogging suit and my booties.
Hypno. Hey, Hypno's got a big show coming up on Saturday, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. He's got X coming on.
X. Yeah.
Malcolm director.
Yes,
right, baby.
Quick story about that. I got one of the people on Robin Hood their part.
I'm not kidding.
I'm an acting coach, and one of the people that was auditioning for that show came. Yeah, well, anyway, but they came to me with their scene. Yeah. And as soon as I read the scene, I said, I know exactly what they want for this. I'm going to get you this role, and I got them the part. And that person's the actress who plays the sheriff.
Oh God. Yeah. I'd
So
say
Hypno, are you gonna go easy on that guy or Director X? Or are you gonna like give him like?
I don't. Hey, Hypno, let us know what you're gonna do. Well, let's save it for the show. But I don't think the panel's gonna hold back. They're gonna. I think what he said when I was on his show Saturday, which was fantastic, by the way. He was mentioning like they want to have an actual conversation, right?
Yeah,
they
Leon said that they want to keep it respectful.
They want to keep it respectful, but I do think if
can you keep it?
If Director X starts taking it up a notch and pushing back a little bit, I don't think Hypnotic's afraid at all to be like, hey, like this is where we're just having a different opinion. If it gets heated, it's not going to be that the panel's
going to win against Hypnotic.
Yeah, no, Hypnotic is not, because Hypnotic doesn't give a shit. That's what I
Right.
love about Hypnotic. He just doesn't care who you are. He'll go after
I
you.
have to say,
Director X versus Latinx.
when I read the sides for the scene with the actress, the show actually jumped out at me. I thought it was going to be really good.
Yeah.
I thought, oh yeah, this could be interesting, modern, gritty kind of. I thought it was going to be more like The Shield, not more like not more like The Shield meets Breakdance the movie.
It's not though, Lance. It's not.
It is everything that is wrong in society.
Yeah, so we get this final shot here.
Neon gangs and Batman and Robin. That's
Sorry, man. Sorry, Connolly, I sidetracked us a bit.
I wanted to talk about that because Hypno came in and see you, love it. Have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for staying through the whole show. I appreciate you. Yeah, so this is where we get the shot of the state building and the rat. And so from what I understand, the interpretation to this is he wanted to have a bigger future for himself, and the state capitol building there represents truth and actual justice and honesty, and which is bullshit because it's a government agency, but like in him, it was the highest you can position, the highest level you can get. And then the rat part is like, okay, so he wasn't going to get away with it because he was a rat. So that was one interpretation. I don't know if that's true. Hey, what's up, Zombie Main? How you doing, buddy? So anyway, that's how the movie ends. And yeah, that's it, man. That was The Departed. And God damn, that's a great movie. I absolutely love rewatching that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, nothing says truth and justice like the Massachusetts. Exactly. That's what I said.
When you think of Jack Nicholson, you think of decades with him. That's how of an actor.
Yeah.
The 80s, you had Prizzi's Honor, Witches of Eastwick. You had the Joker or Batman.
Chinatown.
China was Chinatown 80 or was that 70s?
No, I was in the 70s. You're right. I'm sorry.
In the 70s.
Well, there you go. Like in the 70s, he had a walk close. 60s, he had Easy Rider, and like he was just
terms of endearment.
Terms of endearment. You had The Shining. 1980. Yeah, like the guy is just, and then the 90s.
We don't count Wolf, right? We don't count Wolf, right?
I didn't mind that movie.
It's not bad, but I think that was one.
I thought it was a great movie.
I think that movie made him quit acting for a while.
Yeah,
I wasn't bad. Like it's not. He regrets making it. He said, but at the time, it's one of those guilty pleasures. It's a stupid movie. Just watch it when it's on.
He was also making so much money off of Batman at that point that he was like, I can take a break.
Let me play a wolf. We got with Michelle Pfeiffer though. That fuck. So he was a lucky man there. Yeah, and that she was in that movie, Wolf. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant he got with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Maybe she did. It's Jack Nicholson.
It's like James Spader's last movie before he got ugly.
Well, I was the Joker.
She probably. Postman always rings twice. You forget about that movie.
Yeah.
Reds, like broadcast, like man, there's so many movies.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Dang.
All right. Let's get to the trivia real quick. Since Fex isn't here, then we'll get our thoughts and final shout outs. So I don't want to do an Indian accent, but I might. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, back in 10. Anyway.
How about the trivia of The Departed?
This movie grossed 19. No. So the movie opened. So it was a $90 million budget for this movie. In the opening weekend, it opened up domestically at 26,800,000. So I don't know, for movies back in 2006, especially a movie like this, it's pretty common. But it ended up having a $132 million domestic gross over its span and $159 million international. So it did better internationally. And worldwide, it took in 291.
Dang good for an R-rated movie.
Yeah, so 291 million off a $90 million budget, not bad. Considering, and so this is the competition this movie had. Okay, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, Employee of the Month, and Open Season.
What month was this?
I don't think I've seen Employee of the Month.
It was with Dane Cook and
Jessica Simpson's in that.
This was October of 2006.
Okay, so that's kind of not one of the big months.
October 16th. So it was a slow month, so you knew this movie was going to come out of the gate. But the funny thing is, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, actually was like 7.3 million. This was 8. What did I say it was? 8.6 opening day. Not that much of a big, like the opening day, whatever. That's not a big difference considering it's a Scorsese movie and his popularity from a freaking chainsaw. But horror movies do well. So, but overall,
Scorsese movies aren't necessarily always like massive at the box.
Oh, that's
office.
true.
I mean, they're R-rated, and
that's true.
R-rated movies often had a really tough time making a ton of money.
Little Miss Sunshine opened up 12th that week. Oof. Yeah, there's The Guardian, Jackass. Like there was Gridiron Gang. Like so, the competition wasn't great. But whatever, that's the box office news. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But it made its money back and then some. Did well.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you triple your budget back then on an R-rated movie, that's pretty good money.
Not bad. That's not bad. So
the marketing's probably they didn't get the marketing that it should have.
It really did not. Because
no, not back then. No, I only went to see it because I heard it was a Scorsese movie and I was a big fan at that point. So I was like, okay, I'll go see it.
Anything Scorsese, you're gonna go see.
It's got all these big names in it. It should have been.
Well, yeah. Slated. Speaking of that, that's in the trivia, Whitey. About the names,
baby boy.
You bastard. So Leonardo DiCaprio called his one-on-one scene with Jack Nicholson one of the most memorable of his lifetime. No shit. Martin Scorsese really wanted Al Pacino for the role of Costello initially because he had never worked with Pacino before, but he turned it down. And Nicholson was his second choice. Could you imagine Al Pacino as Costello? I don't know if it would have worked as well.
I don't think it would have worked.
I would have liked the overacting Pacino, though. I got a rat in my crew. It wouldn't work very well.
And you got your head all the way up it.
Vera Farmiga met with a real LAPD psychiatrist to prepare for her role. The psychiatrist read the script and told Farmiga that Madeline did pretty much everything wrong.
My Farmiga.
Except when she boned Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's see here. This is a funny fact. Mark Wahlberg easily fell back on his native accent. Martin Scorsese joked it was so thick they needed subtitles initially.
That's what she said.
Yeah. When the film won Best Oscar for Best Picture, Scorsese said that he was surprised the film had won. Scorsese said that because the film is such a tough, nasty, and violent film, he never thought about the idea of winning an award. So people feel like this movie was his give me. Like, okay, he's been nominated a million times. Let's give him one. And I don't know if I feel considering what was the competition, but I think it was deserving. But there are people who do feel that with actors and especially directors, they finally just get one because it's like, all right, here, we'll give you this gift for now.
It's your time.
Yeah.
So a lot of people felt that way with DiCaprio when he won for The Revenant.
Revenant, yeah, that was a gift because he was in better roles before that. So yeah,
it's like a seniority award or something, Or whatever weird things you've done in Hollywood.
Truth be told, when you look at what Departed was up against, it was the best out of the five. I mean, there are some good. I mean, Little Miss Sunshine, Babel, Letters from Iwo Jima, and The Queen were nominated that year. I'd say The Departed is the best of those, but it's a good lineup of movies. But
yeah,
it's the Oscars. They don't know how to pick a good movie anyway. So
they're stupid people.
They're stupid people.
Originally, Nicholson turned down his role in the movie, but after a meeting with Scorsese, William Monahan, and Leonardo DiCaprio, he was finally convinced to play the role of Costello. The main reason he joined the production was because he had previously done a few comedies and wanted to play a villain again, and he considered the character of Costello to be the ultimate incarnation of evil. There you go. Thank you for that, Jack. Thanks for coming back, Jack. Martin Scorsese did not realize this was a remake of the Hong Kong movie until after he agreed to direct it. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. When Jack Nicholson walks off with the Angel Kids in the scene with was it Wahlberg and Sheen, the yacht in the background is the same yacht Jordan Belfort, Leonardo DiCaprio owns in The Wolf of Wall Street. So there you go. Here you go. Martin Scorsese wanted to shoot the film in Boston, where the story is set. Bulk of the film was shot in New York, partly due to concerns about setting up production and politics, partly because of New York's 15% filmmaking tax credit. They shot in Boston for 3 weeks in June and 3 more in August. After the success of the film, Massachusetts created a 25% tax credit for filmmaking. So they realized they lost out. Stupid. Martin Scorsese deliberately chose not to watch Infernal Affairs 2002, the original that the movie was based on, until he completed the film, which I guess I don't blame him in a way, because you want to make it your own, especially if you don't even realize you're making a remake. But
I'm pretty sure the cinematographer watched it.
Oh, I'm 100%. Yeah, somebody did to give him some pointers.
Definitely.
After Jack Nicholson joined the cast, his character was rewritten to give him a bigger part in the movie. That's interesting. Maybe that's what the 4-hour cut is. It's even more Nicholson. Yeah. Here we go. Possible reason why DiCaprio did not receive an Oscar nomination for this movie was because Warner Brothers initially did not want to favor DiCaprio over his co-stars and place him in the lead actor category. The studio favored DiCaprio's leading performance in Blood Diamond, which eventually got him a nomination. DiCaprio refused to campaign against his male co-stars in the supporting actor category, so Warner Brothers bought no supporting actor ads for DiCaprio, and he did not receive a nomination. That's kind of fucked up. Whatever.
Especially because I think he's considerably better in this than in Blood Diamond, and I think he's great in Blood Diamond.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Much better in this.
Yeah.
Matt Damon decided his character should be impotent to counter Frank's macho personality. Well, there you go. Poor bastard. You lost a girlfriend because of it, you son of a bitch. Martin Sheen was one of the last actors cast. The reason why he agreed to appear in the film was because he wanted to work with Scorsese. Hey, that tells you everything you need to know about a director. So, Leonardo DiCaprio visited Boston and met with people tied to the Irish mob. It's pretty common for mob movies where people meet with other gangsters, or kind of.
I thought that was just pretty common. If you went to Boston, you'd meet.
Probably. So, according to Scorsese, the film was envisioned as a low-budget production, but the budget increased as more stars became attached. I can see that. Originally, Brad Pitt was cast as Colin Sullivan, but later dropped out to work with Alejandro Enruto in Babel. So there you go. Yeah.
He was also a producer on the film, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He did continue to produce, and then his wife, him and his wife's production company. Yeah, so he's still got a producer credit. As research for his character, Matt Damon worked with the Massachusetts State Police Unit out of Boston. He accompanied them on routine patrols, participated in a drug raid, so he got free cocaine, and was taught proper police procedures, like how to pat down a subject. There you go.
There you go, Whitey. So,
Leonardo DiCaprio gained 15 pounds of muscle to play his role. Ray Liotta, he looked pretty cut in the movie in the beginning. I don't know. He's still, I think he's just got one of those builds.
He's still fairly scrawny, but
yeah. Listen to this. Ray Liotta was originally the choice to play the role of Dignam, but was reluctantly declined due to other commitments.
I was wondering that as we're going
through. He would have been good.
Ray
He would have been good in that part.
Yeah.
Because he's crazy, but yeah.
I would have more seen him in something like Alec Baldwin's role. At that point in his career, at least. I think he's a bit older at that point.
Look at this. Martin Scorsese put the finishing touches on this film a week before its theatrical release. Jesus. This is good. Jack Nicholson refused to wear a Boston Red Sox hat during filming, instead wore his New York Yankees hat.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Let's see. It's the third most worldwide commercially successful film of Scorsese's career. That's pretty interesting. Oh, listen to this. This was interesting. So the screenwriter William Monahan envisioned a sequel to the film, citing that it would focus on overlooked aspects of the first film, such as political corruption. Monahan had watched the sequels to the original film. It was a trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's three Infernal Affairs films.
Yeah, and he said here that a potential sequel would have gone in a different direction set by this film. Mark Wahlberg also indicated that Dignam would have been the main character in the sequel, and it just never materialized. That would have been interesting. I don't know if it would have been as good, but
Hollywood's very reluctant to do R-rated series.
Yeah,
David Fincher wanted the same thing for the Dragon Tattoo series.
Oh, the Dragon Tattoo, yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio was cast in the title role of the Good Shepherd the same year. 2006, but he dropped out to play Billy Costigan in this movie. Matt Damon then took the role in The Good Shepherd. De Niro turned down the role of Queenan to appear in The Good Shepherd. Bad move, De Niro. Bad movie. That movie was terrible. I don't know how you make a movie about the birth of the CIA and put you to sleep. Oof.
Yeah, it wasn't a good film.
And especially like after Bronx Tale, but Bronx Tale is more it's the same as like what the Scorsese, it's his wheelhouse. The mob thing is very, I don't want to say it's easier to write for, but he grew up in that atmosphere. Like it's just he made mob movies. Like he learned on the score, like to make a movie about the CIA. I fell asleep in that movie like 5 times. I was like, oh God, this is so bad.
Him and Harvey Keitel are just like,
yeah,
terrible. Like just.
Martin Scorsese joked that he was much more comfortable with gangsters on the set than police. I was worried that there were cops all around me and they were going to take me in. That's fucking funny. After completing The Aviator in 2004, Martin Scorsese kept Alan Baldwin in mind for the future collaboration and ultimately decided to cast him as the role of Ellerby, which was offered to Mel Gibson first, but Gibson was unable to take the part because he was starting production on Apocalypto. Wow.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Apocalypto's a good movie.
Yeah, Apocalypse is really good.
Let's see. Yeah, at the 1 hour and 17-minute mark, it was Jack Nicholson's idea to film the scene when Frank Costello attends the opera. It was also Nicholson's idea to have one black woman and one white woman. Let's see, he's bridging the gaps, Nicholson.
Yeah,
he's basically his idea to finger them during the performance. That's what's happening in that scene.
Vera Farmiga was nervous about meeting DiCaprio and Scorsese. You expect there to be a certain chasm between you and them, and there wasn't. Oh, there was no chasm with you and DiCaprio on the bed, though, was there? But she was really excited for that. Martin Scorsese had originally wanted to cast a known actress, either Kate Winslet, Emily Blunt, Hilary Swank, or Jennifer Aniston as the part of Madeline.
No, none of them.
No. He went with the best choice, absolutely.
Jennifer Aniston would only be the comparable because of the look, but not the acting.
Casting Jennifer Aniston would have been about just casting Cameron Diaz in Gangs of New York. Would have gone that kind of direction.
The real mob boss, Frank Costello, was a contemporary of Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky in New York City. It's interesting. Warner Brothers bought the remake rights to Internal Affairs for $1.7 million in 2003. Interesting. Let's see. Scorsese agreed to direct this movie because it reminded him of White Heat from 1949, a film noir starring James Cagney, also about an undercover officer embedded with a charismatic gangster. There you go.
You dirty bums.
Here you go, Gord. The F word and its derivatives are used 238 times in this movie.
Yay!
and its derivatives.
And its derivatives.
Can we have a breakdown of the derivatives, please?
Yeah, Gord, you want to start with the first one, and I'll work my way.
I believe it starts with mother. And
yeah,
and
effer. Yeah, and then again, just like we were saying before, it's loosely based, not only being a remake, but loosely based off Whitey Bulger and the Winter Hill Gang in Boston. It's basically, there was a little bit of everything there, including casting trivia. So that is the trivia. It's not Vex Electronica quality, but it's all I got. God damn it!
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's almost Lance quality.
Lance, do you got anything else to add to it?
Yeah, I was going to say, you have any little tidbits, or did I catch?
Just curious to note that Michael Ballerhaus, the DOP, sadly passed away in 2017. He also directed Air Force One. Sorry, DOP'd it, shot it, which is not an immediate film that I would have gone, oh yeah, this looks like it was shot by the same guy who shot and lit Air Force One. You know,
nice.
But yeah, he's got an incredibly impressive array of credits, not just with Scorsese, but a couple of my other favorite films. One of which is Broadcast News. I don't know if anyone's.
It's a good movie.
It's a very good movie. Any movie that's got a guy singing and reading at the same time whilst talking to someone on the phone at a movie station is always going to get my vote.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So his list of awards is pretty extensive as well. So that explains why the director of photography was so good on this. Yeah. I saw Infernal Affairs recently at the cinema, all 3 films together, packed out with a mostly Asian audience, and it was great. And that was the first time I realized that this film has lifted bits of the script from all three movies. Yeah, right. Basically, yeah.
It's awesome.
And then I was guessing another bit of trivia is that Andy Lau did watch this film. He's the main guy behind the original trilogy. And he went, yeah, Scorsese's made a good film, but it wasn't as good as mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would have to disagree with him on that. I've seen it and I liked it, but I think this movie is
this movie superior.
Quite a bit better. But...
I think it's just the caliber of actors that makes this film.
Yeah, well, they took up they took up like 25% of the budget. I forgot to add that in the trivia. They had these actors in this movie, so that's a lot of money, especially back then. So
just goes to show that packing in a lot of big names doesn't always mean it's going to be a giant financial hit, but
or even a good movie.
Right.
But when you have Scorsese behind the helm, more than likely you're being directed. No pun intended.
But it did better than the Hudson Hawks, so we can at least say that.
Yeah, Hudson Hawks a classic, man. Talking about.
Yeah.
So
classic something.
Yeah, if we had to give ratings, let's start with Gord King. Like, what would you give this rating? Whatever rating system you want to use.
I will give it 8.5 Red Sox out of 10. Not like my favorite Scorsese movie. I don't think it's on the same level as something like Goodfellas or anything like that. I'm not gonna lie, for a couple of years I avoided it because I was a little salty that that Pan's Labyrinth, which was my favorite movie from that year, didn't even get nominated, and this one, so I kind of held a grudge. But I eventually saw it and thought, yeah, this is a great movie. Fantastic performances, excellent dialogue. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10.
Smart. I like it. I like it a lot. Jay, the Gooch King.
I give it 8 cocksuckers out of 10. You fucking cocksuckers out of 10.
Fucking cocksuckers.
Fucking cocksucker. I agree. It's a really great movie. There's a lot of really good. The transitions were really good. The acting is incredible. There's just something about the certain like Madeline. I didn't care for her too much in this movie.
Right.
There's a few other little things that I just didn't care for. I can't think of them on the top of my mind, but they're minor, super minor. But and the score, the music in this is really, really good too. That's the other thing that's really good about this movie. So I would give it about an 8 out of 10.
Solid. Mr. Lance.
But you see Cockney apples and pears scoring system.
Sure, whatever.
So I'll give it a solid 9 Cockney and pears squares out of 10, Governor. Solid performances all round, good script, excellent editing, fantastic sound design. A couple of plot points niggled me, but
sure.
Otherwise,
I thought you said something else there for a second.
No, man. No.
Hey,
stop it!
We don't do that over here, you know.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Not at 4:30 in the morning.
It's really late.
It's too early or too late.
It's too early.
I can't tell which sometimes.
Right.
White Bear, as you have Arnold Schwarzenegger crawling behind you, what do you give this movie?
Well, we don't use that kind of language around here, man.
I'm sorry.
that last name is banned.
It looked like Arnold was rubbing his butt up against the back of your head just now.
You like it around. You liked it.
Yeah, it kind of helps the smell. So I'm probably going to have to go with Lance on this one and give it a 7. It wasn't exactly my kind of movie. I have a hard time getting into the culture that your filthy people come from. But I'd have to give it 7 mass holes out of 10.
You know what we have to watch for Whitey? Next of Kin. The Patrick Swayze movie, but he's like a hillbilly in Tennessee.
Liam Neeson's in that as well.
Liam Neeson's in it.
Yeah.
Whitey, I think you would really appreciate that movie because it's about
working at the cinema when that was on. So
it's a good movie.
I got to see it like 20 times.
I swear to God, I think the people aren't they in Tennessee or Kentucky? I don't know what the fuck.
I got a question for Whitey. Whitey, like when you say you can't get behind the
culture,
city folk stuff. Yeah, the culture. Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
there's a brashness. There's a total, especially I guess in that area, like a macho brashness about everything that
Next up, Ken's Kentucky, by the way, so I guess that's more my neck of the woods.
Yeah, that would be Gord King.
My bad, my bad, Gord. My bad.
I've never seen it, so.
Okay.
Is it just there were not enough gingers in the cast? Is that no?
Jack Nicholson's ginger.
Yeah.
Is he?
No, White Bear's a simple country boy who plays with his cute. I get it. I know what he's saying.
Yeah. It's hard for me to relate to
That's fair.
These people who.
I get
that's
that.
what I figured, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, where where people like us or me, I could be like, oh yeah, I lived around this shit. Like even though it's Boston, it's like I grew up with it, like all these movies. Like this fits.
Yeah.
I can understand what the culture.
It's her Saturday morning cartoons, right, Cannoli?
Yeah, I watched Bugs Bunny and people getting shot in the bakery down the street.
Yeah, it's like me watching Goodfellas. It'll never be as hitting home to me as it is maybe somebody of the Guido connection, but no offense to I'd have a easier time associating with characters and lore from Lord of the Rings before I would
because you're a hobbit?
Yes, I mean,
Is this a height thing? No, I get it. But this is the beautiful thing about cinema, though, is like you can be transported into these worlds, and again, I like Lord of the Rings.
I was transported into that world when I first watched it, and then I had to come out and cover myself in rubbing alcohol.
With white powder on his face. I can't watch this.
I saw rats this big.
No, I get it. That's fair. But see, that's the thing. Like that's the one thing I appreciate is like even though you can't you can't comprehend coming from that world, you still give it a fair score.
I mean,
it's a good movie. You're not doing that thing like, I'm gonna give it a 3 because these people are all scumbags.
Right. That's stupid. Only reserve that for Old Boy and his ilk. You have to respect everything that you did see. You saw good cinematography. There was a good score. It was used well to a point where it didn't freak with my ears. The song, the soundtrack choices in there were great. The acting was phenomenal. It even made me before then I didn't really respect Leonardo DiCaprio that much. When I was younger and I first saw this the first time.
Oh yeah, I agree with you there.
I didn't really respect him because we all hated him because we were all in middle school or high school, and we all only knew Titanic. When I see that, I'm like, oh, he's an actor. I like it. Go him.
Yeah, he became a really good actor.
And seeing Jack Nicholson for one good final time before he kind of really hit the shitter, and just was doing whatever he had to do to get some money. Can
you relate to Matt Damon's impotency though?
Well, no, that's why.
Because they do say that's a side effect of mass cocaine.
I'm just giving you shit, Wayne. I love you, Wayne.
Yeah, that's why the habit gets worse. I'm still in that middle area where I save it for Monday nights. So after I get off here, you know what I'm
doing. Whatever else you do. No, that's fair. That's okay. It's a good assessment. I'd probably give this 8 cops out of 10 cops. Again, I'm kind of with Gord. Like, I really love the movie. It's not my favorite from Scorsese because he's just got such a great lineup of movies. But yeah, it's something I could just rewatch. If it's on, I'll rewatch it because it's just so damn good. The dialogue, the acting, it's funny, and it's a different style, from what he was trying to do with his other mafia movies. And it's just he was evolving. He wanted to do something different. You got to respect that, where he's not sticking to the same old thing. Because he could have, and it probably would have been successful anyway. But I like that he wanted to change because he was tired of doing the same old tropes with the mob stuff. So I like it. I like it a lot. So there you go. That's The Departed, episode 42. Now we get the shout outs. This is Gord's favorite part.
Can I go first? Is this?
No, let Lance go. Yeah, no, let Lance go because I know he's dying over there. So go ahead, Lance.
I'm more or less still compos mentis. Thanks for having me on again, by the way. Always a pleasure. Never a chore. And even if I didn't get to do any Henry Cavill jokes, it's still good. So tomorrow I've got Jeff Farley coming on, no relation to Chris Farley. who is a special effects guy who does not just makeup but other practical effects as well. And he's got about 200 credits on IMDb. You can look him up.
Wow.
He worked on Demolition Man. He did the Babylon 5 pilot. He did 2 seasons of Babylon 5. He did loads of films for Empire Pictures, which is Charles Band's company from the 80s and early 90s that did all the films like Ghoulies, Arena, Robojocks. He worked on Robojocks. So he's done a whole plethora of different movies at different levels. So he's going to be a real interesting guest. And he's going to bring on some props and I think some of the models and things like that. So
I'll check that out.
That's going to be 9 o'clock GMT. So that's 4 o'clock East Coast time.
Yeah, which is like 1 o'clock my time. So it's right. I'll be watching it while I'm working, but I'll be
there.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. And then I'll be back with my Lone Wolf Gaming stream probably later this week. I was supposed to do it tonight before I did this, but I was already feeling a bit crappy and I really wanted to do this. So if I'd done that, I would have ducked out of this. I didn't want to duck out. So that, and then on Saturday I'm doing a deep dive review with Dark Hour on one of the best British television drama series of all time, which is called Our Friends in the North. Look it up on IMDb. It kickstarted the careers of Daniel Craig, Mark Strong, Christopher Eccleston, and Gina McKee, as well as a whole load of other British actors in there. And it's a 9-part drama series. Each episode is almost a feature film length, like 90 minutes long, and it's the story of 4 friends told over 30 years. And each episode's a few years apart. It's a fantastic piece of British drama, and we're going to do a really deep dive on that as part of my new Best of British series. I've already done one episode on the Long Shadow about Jack the Ripper, so or the Yorkshire Ripper. So that's what I've got going on, guys, and I'm gonna go to bed.
All right,
all right, Lance.
Man.
Yeah, get better, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow online.
Take care, Lance.
Yeah,
see you later, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries.
Anytime.
Bye.
Thanks, buddy. And then there was only 4. Jay
is dangerously British.
Oh, he's super British. Like I thought, Platoon's pretty close, but I don't know who's more British.
British.
And we're going to interview Platoon on here in the Connolly Connection next month. I'll ask him. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'll tune in and make fun of everybody.
What's up, Tim? Yeah, we have Platoon on the same 2 times the same week. One to do Captain Marvel, which I don't know why he chose that movie, but he did. And then on the Cannoli Connection. So that's poor guy. No, that's gonna be fun. Andrew said I finally finished my Ahsoka finale. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Andrew, but I'm looking forward to the video, buddy. I did say hello to Tim, didn't I? What's up, Tim?
Yeah.
It's Jay, Gooch King. What do you got going on this week there, my man?
I got an interesting week this week. Wednesday, I will be interviewing the one, the only Sassy Sasquatch on Desolate Soul Studios.
Yeah.
I'll be putting her in the hot seat and having a good conversation. Then Thursday I'll be doing Bone Bridger, doing a review of Loki season 2 episode 3, 4. I can't remember now. And then after that, later that night, late night on Thursday night, the premiere of the Gooch show will be happening.
What?
Gooch is wild.
The Gooch is going wild.
Gooch is wild.
High in demand. So we'll have Sean Arendt, Kayla, who was here tonight in the chat.
Nice.
We'll have Zach Marois, whoever else pops in, possibly. Might be some other people popping in. And we'll be talking. We're going to be talking favorite horror movies and
favorite
topics.
Movies?
Movies.
Horror movies. Okay.
And then Friday, I think Friday I finally have a night off.
Nice. Those are nice.
Yeah, and then the weekend I'm going to be off. And then next Tuesday I'll have Mandy Summers on. So that'll be fun. And then I'm back here next Monday. So
that's right.
And we're doing
Alien.
Oh yes, I love that movie.
Got to finish off the horror month with the good movie.
Gosh, you'll go from The Deported to Alien.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But before I come on Monday, I'll be doing pre-Kings with Matt Barr's channel. So before the Kings,
nice, you're busy boy.
Trying to get out there, trying to get busy, and got to build an audience. That's what you got to do. So
that's true. Mm-hmm. That is true. Yeah, definitely. And Mr. Pumpkin Gourd King himself, what do you got coming up there, sir?
Well, obviously I have my daily gaming streams, which I started Resident Evil 2, the remake today. That was a lot of fun, so I'll be keeping that going. Playing Resident Evil games all the way through October for the spooky month. And in the coming days, I have a video which details my first reaction to the 2016 classic Ghostbusters.
Oh, wow.
Why do you torture yourself with these? But you know what, though? Your Rings of Power video was excellent. So
I've gone up by almost 60 subs since that video.
It was good work. It was good work.
But you still are doing more, right?
Oh yeah. I'm doing Ghostbusters. I'm either gonna do episode 2 of Rings of Power next, or maybe do a good movie. Because
for once,
no, you can't do good movie. You must do bad movie.
Bad movies get subs, man. Views.
They kind of do.
The comedic charm that you
it was great.
Spread with your gourd and all that. It
was great.
But
I watched that. I watched that whole video while I was working, the whole hour. I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. So
the Ghostbusters one's longer than I thought it would be, because, like I said, it's really kind of just a reaction to it. It's 36 minutes long still, and I'm like, wow, this turned out longer than I thought. The script is I thought was just a third of the length. It's like 12 pages, but I guess just the tone I read it in made it longer for some reason. It's just a very defeated tone.
Everybody got to feel that pain.
Yeah.
That was
so that's no, that's good. We're looking forward to that. Your game streams are fun. We always talk about different shit while sports and movies, and he's good at interacting with the audience.
Whitebear found out last week they had unsubbed him from my channel. So anybody who happens to be subbed to me, thank you, but also check to make sure you still are, because you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You might have been departed. And you didn't even know. Oh.
So that's great. Look, all their information's in the description, so please check them out. It's gonna be. They run good channels. They're good people. They're fun, even if they're ugly. But we don't talk about that.
Mildly racist.
Mildly racist. Mildly.
A little bit.
Yeah. So we let's see, for the channel, the Connolly channel, Connolly Sasquatch channel. Let's see, Friday we have Chris and Nadia from the Inside All Day podcast on, and that's going to be fun. She's got a really interesting background. She was like a makeup artist in the industry, and she's got a lot of nerd knowledge that I want to talk to her about. But she's also got a show that she does now, Dames and Dorks, on Thursdays with like females and pop culture stuff. So that's going to be a fun duo. So we decided to get the husband and the wife to talk to the husband and the wife. So
nice.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun stream. And then Monday we're back here. MMM. We're doing Alien. Looking forward to that. I know we have UJ and Leon from Words of Paradise on there. So I think, but Vex is the bookie, and she's passed out right now in Canada somewhere. So we'll have to confirm everybody that's on that show. But yeah, that'll be here.
Passed out on the highway somewhere in Canada.
Yeah, she's trying to cross a border somewhere to get out of Canada.
Yeah.
she needs to get out. But so this has been a great show, man. The chat was great. Thank you,
don't worry, Cannoli. I don't got any shows coming up.
Oh, that's right, Whitey. Oh, that's what you get for talking about my people. I'm just kidding. I can't leave you. No. Oh, yeah. What do you got? Yeah, you got White Bear. We got some.
I ain't got nothing coming up except for these nuts. I got peanuts.
Don't you have some meme videos you still doing?
Yeah, I do. But
coming up that nose.
I've been so busy at work, and I
know what that means. Yeah,
been saving my powder for Monday, so.
In case
I just had to regress a second. I ain't got shit. So
I was giving you shit.
Well, maybe you could pop by the Gooch show on Thursday night there.
There you go.
Whitey.
Yeah, if I'm off, I'll be there.
You can get off on the Gooch show.
Depends on how late y'all roll, but yeah, I could I could see.
Thanks, amateur analyst. Thank you, Jacob.
Save your
Thank
powder.
you. Yeah, save your. The chat was great as usual. Like I said, Gord King, thank you for being the last second addition, dude. You're always welcome.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude. We'll be back next week. Catch us all on the socials, the community pages, all that shit. And yeah, I guess I will be in Jay's chat Thursday making fun of Sassy Sasquatch the whole night and see if she can handle the pressure. So look for us. We'll love you. Thank you. And see you next week. Bye-bye.